Time now for Dowling Catholic High School Football, the Central Iowa Sports Network. CISN.TV is the state's premier source for high school sports streaming.
Spins through a tackle. He's into the end zone. They'll roll out his way. Look in the middle. Complete.
Dowling Catholic High School Football is brought to you by Schottenkirk Chevrolet, Shields, the Better Business Bureau, Central Bank, and Mid-American Energy. Now let's go to our CISN.TV crew for Dowling Catholic High School Football.
Good evening and welcome to Valley Stadium, week 6 of the high school football season here on Iowa Catholic Radio. And tonight we simulcast with the Central Iowa Sports Network. Mark Hamadale joined tonight by my broadcast partner in the booth, Matt Mainring, on your far left, and John Chido, the sideline guy, on your right. Yeah, you might need a few more clothes on, Mr. Chido. It's a little cool out there.
This jacket's pretty warm.
Okay.
It's
be good.
It's a good one.
You think so, Matt?
I
don't
Yeah,
know.
I think you'll be all right.
This is football weather.
Okay.
That's right.
Well,
Yeah.
we've got football weather, cloudy skies, 55 degrees right now, probably the coolest game we've had this year. But, gentlemen, it's week 6. It should be that way. We have the fall weather setting in, and both Dowling and Lincoln tonight. It's Dowling's homecoming, and both Dowling and Lincoln 1-0 in district play. And, by the way, last night Sioux City East defeated Sioux City North in District 1 play. So Sioux City East with a 2-0 district play. And the winner of this game will be in first place, or tied for first place with Sioux City East. So, Matt, we'll start with you. A very important district game as we move through District 1.
Yeah, these are always those games when you go into a homecoming week, you always kind of dread a little bit. Can you keep the kids' focus all week long and into Friday night? And you try to remind them all week long, the reason why we're doing all this because of a football game on Friday night. So, keep your focus, keep things in line, and get ready to play football at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, last night Sioux City East defeated Sioux City North 62-14. Both Dowling and Lincoln will play Sioux City teams this year. Last night, number 2 Cedar Falls, a 28-0 win over Cedar Rapids Jefferson, and Davenport North, a 43-19 win over Iowa City High. Well, tonight it's Dowling and Lincoln, and John Child, you're going to be on the sideline. What are some of the things that you're looking for tonight? Obviously, the Maroons coming off a big win the last 2 weeks up in Ankeny, defeating Ankeny Hawks last week in district play, but Dowling coming off, trying to get another win over a Lincoln team that's not going to quit, as we both know. They're going to be out there. They'll give it their all.
Yeah, you're right, Mark. Lincoln's going to play really hard. The kids play tough. It's going to be a physical game. I'm looking for Dowling to start off fast, get momentum on offense early, be penalty-free. We haven't seen that the last couple weeks. We've had those glimpses of good drives, and then we kind of get set back by penalties. So I'm looking for Dowling to get off to a fast start, getting that rhythm of offense, moving the ball quickly down the field, and set the tone for Dowling's defense.
And, John, a quick follow-up. Dowling has not forced that many turnovers this year. They played very well defensively. Lincoln this year has recovered 6 fumbles and has interceptions. They forced 7 turnovers, more than the Dowling defense. That might be something that the Dowling defense keeps in the back of their mind while they're bending but not breaking.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Mark. We have 1 interception. Dowling does, no fumble recoveries, so the turnover ratio hasn't been in Dowling's favor quite yet this year, but I'm looking for that to change moving more further down the road in district play. Turnovers are key to any ball game. You want to be on the high end of that to be successful.
Well, Matt, as we talk about the Dowling offense, obviously John touched on it a little bit, but eliminating penalties, and this is a game that you really don't want to get involved with a lot of penalties. Most of the penalties are mental mistakes. There's effort penalties and there's mental mistake penalties, and that's what Dowling's trying to right.
They have. They've been caught by the bug the last couple of weeks with the holding penalties and just some things that have been drive killers for them as you look for momentum. And John brings up a great point. I think if you're Coach Wilson, going into this ball game, you're looking at things of cleaning up those little things. Early on in the year, it was special teams. They had to clean up special teams, and the last couple of weeks, we really got those things turned around, Dowling has. And now the next step is to take care of the penalties and to have consistent drives stay ahead of the chains and keep the ball moving.
Well, for Dowling, they've been led by their quarterback, Hank Hemrick, leading that ground attack. Gavin Williams, Tegan Johnson in the backfield. Those have been the three rushers. Tonight, I think, gentlemen, can they run? Can they pass the ball? And that'll be another aspect. And, John, let's go to you. Your thoughts on the Dowling offense attacking Lincoln's defense. And Lincoln's defense is kind of unusual. They have a 3-man, 4-man front. They might have 6 guys standing up.
Yeah, their base defense is a 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers, 5 defensive backs. But they're going to bring more inside the tackle box. They're going to load the tackle box. You'll see 8, upwards to 9 guys in the tackle box. I expect their safeties to play only 8 to 10 yards off the ball because I think Lincoln's number one commitment is to stop the run. That's been Dowling's strength. So Dowling to succeed and open up that run game a little bit, they're going to have to loosen up that defense. You'll see a lot of throws to the sides to receivers. You'll see a lot more passes downfield. And I think if they're able to do that and move the ball successfully in the air, it would open up the running lanes for Dowling's offense.
All right, and for the Dowling defense against the Lincoln offense. Lincoln offense led by the Storm twins. Caden, who's the quarterback, Carter, who's one of the receivers, and they have a sophomore running back. We saw this last week at Ankeny. This one is Josh Jenkins, who can run the football. So Coach Summy at Lincoln trying to get the ground game, but he'll probably go up top. He's got 4 receivers that he plays and 3 more off the bench. So what do you anticipate there, Matt?
They use the pass to set up the run, and they're trying to spread you out and get 3 receivers on one side and make lanes for Caden Storm to sit there and run or throw the ball, and at the last minute he may pitch it out to Josh Jenkins. So they're going to try and do multiple things to keep Dowling's defense honest. And, it's hard. One of those things when you get that kind of an offense where they spread you out and do those things, you can't stunt as often. You got to play true defense. And it's going to put a lot of pressure on the ends. You take someone like Jackson Filer and the other ends where they move him around. Usually they try to put Jackson on the strong side so he can put pressure on the quarterback. He's got to keep him in front of him, not over pursue, things like that, and keep running lanes. And I think we'll see a lot of Neonte Gerke tonight, just because he's been the guy over the last few games that has become the guy that's mirroring the quarterback. And so he's going to be responsible to make sure Caden doesn't get out and get some big runs.
All right, that's our pregame show here on Iowa Catholic Radio, at least the first segment of it, as it's Dowling Catholic's Hall of Fame, Athletic Hall of Fame induction. We're going to have guests on at halftime. We also have a special guest in the sideline tonight, the John Michelson family. John and his 4 boys, they go to St. Francis. Matt, you were with me during the men's stag. He was a winner of the radio announcer in the booth. He elected to be on the sidelines with John tonight on a very crisp night.
I can understand that.
So if you see a bunch of middle school kids out there, that's the Michelson family. John, you're in charge of them tonight, by the way. No penalties.
No penalties.
No penalties.
All right. Yeah. And we'll come back with more. I had an opportunity to catch up with head coach Tom Wilson of Dowling Catholic, and we'll visit with him previewing tonight's game. Dowling-Lincoln homecoming here at Valley Stadium, here on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Save thousands in Waukee. Schottenkirk Chevy, Waukee. 2019 Silverado 1500 Double Cab up to 25% off. 2019 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab, LT or RST up to 20% off MSRP. Or up to $5,000 off plus 0% for 72 months. We're in a position to give you more for your trade in Waukee. 2019 Colorado up to $7,000 off. Or $5,000 off plus 1.9% for 60 months. Or 2.9% for 72 months. These won't last. Schottenkirk Chevy, Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
Is this guy a contractor who does good work or a contractor who needs work? For a reliable recommendation, trust the Better Business Bureau, protecting consumers for over a century. When you go to bbb.org to check out a business, you'll learn if it's BBB accredited, see its grade on customer service, and read honest, useful reviews from local people. For online recommendations you can trust, start with trust at bbb.org/Iowa.
And welcome back to Valley Stadium. Mark Amadale alongside Matt Maindring and John Chido tonight as we get set for Dowling and Lincoln here on Iowa Catholic Radio. And I'll tell you what, Matt, what a night we have for this Athletic Hall of Fame inductions going on right now. And I'll tell you what, this is a beautiful night to have it. I know it's a little bit crisp, but you were part of that ceremony at Dowling earlier this afternoon. And let our listeners know that as the inductees right now are being interviewed being introduced on the field.
You know, it's always fun to watch these people get marched out through the pep rally in the afternoon, and the kids are talking, and you see it's just fun to hear the stories. And for me, being new, you know, these are unfamiliar faces to me, but to hear the rich history of what all these people have brought into Dowling in their various sports. You know, the only one I really get acquainted with is Claudia Farrell as the softball coach now.
That's right.
Watching her take over the program and is really making strides that way. You know, and this is more in your wheelhouse, you know, Mark.
She's going to get her shot at me.
But you've called games with all these people out there, maybe one or two.
That is true. You know, we're going to
and tell me all what you know, being in the coaching sidelines as well.
Well, that's certainly true. But Claudia Farrell was a 2014 graduate of Dowling Catholic. She's been recognized on the field. Member of the 2013 state championship softball team. And by the way, Matt, we're going to visit with Claudia at halftime of tonight's game. As I'm going to have a chance to sit down, and I don't know if I'm going to ask her who her favorite umpire was, because I didn't do a lot of her games in high school, because I step away from that on the high school side. Yeah. But she led Dowling to 4 straight state tournament appearances. They were state champs in her junior year back in 2013, and I don't know if I should ask her, because I worked a lot of her games when she played at Grandview in our college side. So
you know, the catcher is always the one that has the better relationship with the ump, isn't that right? I spent a lot of time on the diamonds in the summer too, and you know, as far as coaching goes, after football, softball is the one I have a lot of passion for, and it's just a fun game. And obviously, it all starts and ends with the pitcher on the mound. And with girls softball, you know, you can run that girl out there a lot of times because of the motion, and let her throw a lot of innings. And
that's right.
And when they're good, it's fun to watch.
Well, Claudia is one of the better ones, and not only at the high school level, but also the college level. First team All-American all 4 years at Grandview. It's moving right along. Elliot Baker, he was a 2011 graduate of Dowling Catholic High School and a tennis star there. He was Aquinas Key recipient, so congratulations to him. And you know what? He was a team captain and MVP when he played college tennis, and did a very good job. And I think Mike O'Connor, if I'm not mistaken, was his head coach. So Elliot Baker, 2011 graduate, and that was just before you got there.
Yeah, just before I got here. And you see these people go on, you read about the successes they had after Dowling. That's what's even more impressive. And you see, you know, as he went on to Creighton and excelled there, and just a lot of great things. And as you talk about tennis, that's one of those programs for us right now that's really blossoming, and the numbers are increasing, and it's making, I don't know if you can call it a comeback, but it's really starting to be strong at Dowling.
No question about it. Another graduate, another Hall of Fame inductee for Dowling tonight is Jessica Campbell, a graduate of 2013, track, volleyball, and cheerleading. And boy, that's quite a variance there of you know, talk about, that's
a busy life.
Busy, but you know, not one-dimensional. And Jessica had that. And I know in the track, she was a part of those relay teams at Dowling back in the 2013 year and before in her time. And you know, she was one that well-deserved number one. But what an athlete she was in track, volleyball, cheerleading. Don't sign me up for any of that.
And I believe, if I remember having a conversation with Coach Wiskus. I believe she's helping in some of our youth programs, or volunteering somewhere along the way with the volleyball program. And I've heard a lot of great things about her. She graduated just before I came down here, and just a lot of positives. And it's great to see the multi-dimensional athletes and see these kids go across a lot of different venues.
Absolutely. So congratulations, Jessica Campbell, class of 2013. And a gentleman who, is the coach in the class, and that's head coach Matt Dillon, who was at Dowling. He's a 33-year veteran football coach, and he coached at Dowling from 1996 to 2005, led the Dowling to its first 2 state football titles. And I can attest to this, Matt, because I sat through a lot of this. 7-time runner-up and I think Matt was a runner-up one of those years. He was a final. I think he was the 7th, and then all of a sudden state titles came, and then Tom Wilson followed as Matt went south and coached in Georgia and Florida, where he's from. But he married a Roosevelt girl, so they moved up here, and they're up at Fort Dodge St. Edmund right now. He's trying to resurrect the program up there. He came down for today's event, but he's back coaching tonight for Fort Dodge St. Ed's.
You know, and you see the lineage there of just that passion of coaching, and to see it pursued and staying in Catholic schools as well, you know, going from Dowling and then going south, as you said, and then ending up at St. Ed's. And that's, you know, he's following pretty big shoes there, too, with Coach Ty.
Yeah, Dick Ty,
Dick
exactly.
Ty being the head coach up there at that, and then following in his footsteps, and they've got a really good program.
Well, Eric Lee's another Hall of Fame inductee for Dowling this year. He's a graduate of 2011. I like Eric. Boy, he was a competitor. Football, basketball, baseball. I had a chance to broadcast all three, and he ended up going to Notre Dame. He was on the football team at Notre Dame. He was one of those guys on the sideline that, you know, they'd have these pictures, you know, you offensive coaches, you know what I'm talking about, man. You had these pictures. Well, Eric did that.
I was never smart enough to get one of those things, so I couldn't figure it out.
But what a genius. This guy is now a resident up at the University of Wisconsin. As he graduated I think is from Notre Dame in 2015, went to the University of Iowa College of Medicine, and now he's doing residency up at the University of Wisconsin. And a perfect field for him because Eric knew it all. He's a smart guy and a great athlete.
Yeah, and you getting a little variance in where he's going to college. Go to Notre Dame, to Iowa, to Wisconsin, and again, you can tell he's a guy that would be recruited. I mean, you go from Notre Dame, and then you go to one of the best medical places in the Midwest in Iowa, and then go up to the UW to pursue the surgery degree.
You're listening to the pregame show here on Iowa Catholic Radio. Mark Amadale, Matt Maindring, and John Chido here at Valley Stadium. It's homecoming for Dowling Catholic. If you're watching us on the simulcast on CISN.TV, they're introducing the Dowling Athletic Hall of Fame inductees. We're going to take a break. We'll come back and announce more of the inductees of this year's 2019 Dowling Hall of Fame when the pregame show continues here on Iowa Catholic Radio.
Central Bank is proud to support the unmatched spirit of sportsmanship and hard work exemplified by our local athletes. We're fans of high school sports and the way the big game and hometown team rally a community. Best of luck to all of today's competitors. Play hard, have fun, and make something great happen. Central Bank, member FDIC. Central Bank is proud to support the unmatched spirit of sportsmanship.
And we're back here at Valley Stadium as pregame show continues here on Iowa Catholic Radio. Mark Amadale alongside Matt Maynard. Apologize, usually have a conversation with Coach Tom Wilson, but we're going to talk the Athletic Hall of Fame right now. We were talking about some of the members, Mark and Matt. Next up is Tom Gall. Tommy will be our he's listed as Tom Gall on here. I've called him Tommy for years.
Oh, I've heard so far, too, is Tommy. I don't know his... Yeah.
Well, you should know he's on your coaching staff at Dowling. He's one of the sophomore offensive line coaches, but what a career he had. Had a chance to cover him in all aspects, football, basketball, baseball, and track at Dowling. And this is a young man who walked on at the University of Iowa to play football and ended up starting his senior year, and just a tremendous talent, a great role model. And Coach Wilson told me when we were having our segment together, he said, this is a guy, the first guy I called. Once he graduated, I asked him to come back and help coach, and he has.
Yeah, you know, it shows a lot about a person, because when you walk on at a university, walk on at Iowa, walk on at a D1 school, you're taking a big gamble, because you may never see the field.
That's right.
And, you know, and then you have to go through all of those things, all of the training, everything else. And it shows the fortitude and persistence that Tommy has to get to that level, and then to get on the field and play as a senior is just outstanding.
National Honor Society and Aquinas Key medal that he earned while at Dowling. So he did it from the academic side and the athletic side. Congratulations, Tommy Gall, the 2010 Dowling graduate. Another graduate, 1999, Lincoln Minks. And boy, Talk about an athlete. Baseball was his forte. He played track and football, so football was kind of his second sport, if you will. But this kid was a competitor, and Lincoln lives in Johnston right now with his wife Danielle and her 3 children. But what a career he had. Actually played baseball at Iowa State before they discontinued it. Then he had to move on to the University of Central Florida.
That's what I heard today. Yeah, he was on that squad that when they cut the program.
They cut the program, yep.
And I didn't hear where he went to. So he went to Central Florida and continued playing, and that's kind of a tough deal. As you go on. But again, as you see, is consistently with a lot of these people, it's a multi-sport athlete. You know, they're working in all those different venues.
They certainly did. And congratulations, Lincoln Minks, from the class of 1999. And finally, from the class of 2014, Carissa Schweitzer. And what a career she had at Dowling. What a student she was at Dowling. Didn't help that her grandfather was a longtime coach, Frank Schweitzer, Dowling, who stood with her, or stood on behalf of her here at Valley Stadium, because she is not here, and there's one reason why. She's still competing for our country right now in the Olympics, and she's running tonight, apparently, Matt.
I think that, the best is yet to come out of this young lady, and she is amazing to watch. And, it's one of those kids, I've only been able to watch her on TV. 2014 graduated year before I came here, or 2 years before I came here. And it's just been a pleasure to watch her at Drake, and she's just an amazing kid.
And, of course, those are the inductees. So congratulations to Elliot Baker, Jessica Campbell, Matt Dillon, Claudia Farrell, Tom Gall, Eric Lee, Lincoln Minks, and Carissa Schweitzer. And this group of people who we'll talk about next is the Dowling Stepperettes, who I think were still around when I got there in '76 at Dowling, but they started back in 1959. And I'll tell you what the history of Dowling, well, you got to include the Stepperettes, and I think they're having their reunion this weekend. Some of them are here. Matt, you saw some of them today, and talk about that. I think they're going to be introduced. They will be introduced tonight at the end of the first quarter here at the Dowling-Lincoln football game.
Just a big crowd, and you talk about some tradition and everything else, and you hear the awards that they won when they were competing and everything else. I wanted to see a display today, but what it was, I've heard it was more like it was a dance in a different way. It was much more regimented and everything else, but just an amazing thing. It was amazing to see that many people back today for the homecoming festivities, and quite a proud group of people.
They gave their first public performance 60 years ago during halftime of a Dowling basketball game, and then the group disbanded.
Did you call that game?
No. The group disbanded back in 1977, which would have been my freshman year at Dowling. So congratulations to the Dowling Stepperettes. They'll be recognized at the end of the first quarter. Well, we're going to take a break here in the pregame show. When we come back, we'll talk more Dowling and Lincoln. It's homecoming and district football. It's week number 2 of district play. Both Dowling and Lincoln are undefeated at 1-0 in district play. We'll be back after these messages here on Iowa Catholic Radio.
You want to get stronger, faster, healthier. You want more. You want to be part of something bigger than yourself. A place for people of all ages, all walks of life, that provides opportunities for all to succeed. We do that. We're the why. Build more than muscle. Build a stronger community.
Save thousands in Waukee. Schottenkirk Chevy, Waukee. 2019 Silverado 1500 Double Cab up to 25% off. 2019 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab, LT or RST up to 20% off MSRP. Or up to $5,000 off plus 0% for 72 months. We're in a position to give you more for your trade in Waukee. 2019 Colorado up to $7,000 off. Or $5,000 off plus 1.9% for 60 months. Or 2.9% for 72 months. These won't last. Schottenkirk Chevy, Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
Stadium, and now our national anthem before tonight's Dowling-Lincoln football game. And welcome back to Valley Stadium. You just heard the national anthem performed before tonight's Dowling-Lincoln football game, homecoming 2019 for Dowling Catholic and Athletic Hall of Fame, and recognizing the Stepperettes and Matt Maindring. A little help with the Dowling marching band. They've kind of grown here in the last week or so.
Tonight.
We haven't had a home game in 2 weeks, so what's happened? What's going on out there?
Well, once a year, Mr. Holland and Mr. Hoover work with the middle school programs and get all those kids out here, and so this is all of the middle school band members of our Catholic schools here in Des Moines, and they came out and practiced last night on the practice field, got things ready, and here they are. Just quite an awesome sight.
Well, it certainly is, and we want to congratulate them for being a part of this. They're playing the Dowling fight sign right now before they exit stage right, so hats off to them. And while they're doing that, let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups before we bring in our sideline reporter, John Chido. And we'll start with the visitors tonight from Des Moines Lincoln. The head coach is Derek Summey in his 5th year, 21 wins, 20 losses. And Rail Splitters come in with a record of 2-3. They're 1-0 in district play. And they'll start on the offense side. Quarterback is Caden Storm, a 5'9 senior. In the backfield will be number 23, Josh Jenkins. He's their running back. He'll be backed up by number 22, Jake Tofanelli. Wide receivers are number 4, Carter Storm. Carter is Caden's twin brother. James Anderson, number 6, another wide receiver. Brandon Canny, another wide receiver, number 8. And the fourth one, no tight end, but Calvin McElvain. You might remember an older brother named Will McElvain, who almost took Iowa State down in the opening week of college football. He's a quarterback at UNI, and his little brother.
He had quite a day that day.
His little brother Calvin's coming in, and I remember calling his game over at Des Moines Lincoln, and so that's the offensive backfield and receivers for Lincoln. The left tackle is Tice Allen, a 6', 245-pound senior. Alex King, number 74, is the left guard, and he is a 6'2", 250-pound junior. The center is Ramiro Gomez. Ramiro is a 5'11", 225-pound senior. Gage Heights is the right guard, number 66, a 324-pound senior. And Kyle Snogren, a 6', 235-pound senior, number 60, is their right tackle. So it's Allen, King, Gomez, Heights, and Snogren, the starting lineups on the offense for Des Moines Lincoln. Now let's move over to Dowling Catholic, and the Maroons come in with this game with a record of 4-1. They're 3rd ranked in the state in Class 4A. They're 1-0 in district play. And, of course, the head coach is Tom Wilson in his 15th year at Dowling, 156 wins and 24 losses. But he might reach a milestone tonight, Matt Maindring. In his 27th year, he's at 249 wins and 63 losses. So do we have some kind of cake for Tom if that all takes care of itself?
I think he'd walk right by the room, to be honest with you.
Exactly. All right, the Dowling offense. And we'll start with the offensive line. The left tackle is Charlie Nank, number 77, a 6'4", 300-pound senior. Joe Ryan's a left guard, a 5'11", 240-pound senior, wearing number 56. The center is Nolan Sinnott, and he's a 6'2", 215-pound senior wearing number 53. And Ryan Bowles back to his old spot at right guard. Bowles, number 72, a 6'4", 300-pound senior. And that's because Tyler Stein is back. He'll start at right tackle. Number 75, a 6'7", 250-pound senior. So 5 seniors on the Dowling offensive line. And Andrew Lynch is a tight end. He's a junior, 6'4", 215 pounds. A quarterback for the Maroons, Hank Hemrick. And he wears number 12, a 5'11", 190-pound senior. In the backfield, we'll see Tegan Johnson, number 31, a 5'10", 190-pound senior. And also back there, we'll see Gavin Williams. Williams, a 6', 210-pound senior, wears number 21. And the receivers will be Matt Stillwell tonight, number 5, a 6'2", 190-pound senior, along with Louis Brooks. Louis, a 5'11", 150-pound junior. So that's a look at the Dowling offensive starters. Zach Swager, when they go to the fullback or H-back or blocking back, Zach and Will Linhart will handle that. So that's a look at our starters tonight. Coming up, the kickoff between Dowling and Lincoln. Homecoming here at Valley Stadium on a very cool, crisp night. Overcast skies, but the threat of rain should happen after the game. That's on promise, Matt Maindring.
Okay.
That's a promise.
That's a promise? All right.
All right. So,
John will be thankful.
Well, I'm sure he will. He's probably trying to stay warm right now. All right. So when we come back, we'll have the kickoff. But first, our pregame prayer with Father Ryan Andrew. He is the Dowling team chaplain. And we'll also have a word from Dr. Dan Ryan, the president of Dowling Catholic High School. And you're listening to and watching Iowa Catholic Radio's coverage and the Central Iowa Sport Network coverage of Dowling Catholic football here on Iowa Catholic Radio.
Every month or so, there's another story in the media about when and how often we need to get our mammograms. Kind of confusing. When this happens, I like to consult with experts. So I called Iowa Radiology. They recommend women get an annual mammogram starting at age 40. They know that it's the best way to detect cancers early and save lives. And that's good enough for me. Visit iowaradiology.com or call to schedule your mammogram. Iowa Radiology, our focus is your good health.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
And welcome back to Valley Stadium, West Des Moines, as we get set for Dowling and Lincoln tonight. Week 2 of district football. Both teams 1-0 in their respective districts. Dowling 4-1 overall, Lincoln 2-3. Game time temperatures right now, it's 57 degrees here in West Des Moines. Cloudy skies and wind coming out of the south, so it'll be going right to left here at Valley Stadium. Let's go down for, on the sideline is John Chido in our Shields sideline report, and his first one of the night. And Johnny, take it away. Give us an update on the Dowling sideline before kickoff.
Well, like we mentioned earlier, it's a beautiful night for football, Mark. They're little wind right now. It's a nice cool breeze. It's not real hot. Just had the coin toss, so I'm trying to see who is going to start with the football. And I believe Lincoln will. And Dowling will be kicking off.
All right. Well, John, appreciate that update. We'll go down to John. Pretty much every other series or so is we do have a south-southeast wind at 10 miles per hour right now. And, Matt, I don't know if that'll be a factor, but obviously tonight Dowling will kick off and defend the north end zone or the south end zone. So that means Dowling will have the wind at their back.
Mm-hmm. You don't see the flags moving much on top of the goalposts, so you see a little movement on the flags at the American flag. And so in the corner of the end zone, middle of the field, not much movement, so not much of a factor. And as John said, it's just a great night for a football game.
It certainly is, and might have to have a sweatshirt and a blanket, but you'll be fine. We want to thank the webcasting team led by Pete Tarpey and his crew, CIS.TV. Anna is our press box producer, Clayton and Nick, and of course Justin was up on setup, so we want to thank them as we're about set for the kickoff as Dowling will kick it away, and that is Jonathan Gonzalez, end over end kick, fielded at the 10-yard line by the rails, returned his left and going to his left, and on the return that is number 2, Rashid Hernandez Duncan. He tried to get outside the left hash, but finally he's being snowed under right around the 15-yard line or so, Matt. So that's where the Lincoln offense will take over.
Great coverage. He was kind of waiting for his blocks to get set and trailing out to the left side, and then the Dowling cover team broke through and kind of almost at a loss from where he picked the ball up at. So good way to start for the Maroons, and now we're ready to play football.
Yes, we are, and the Lincoln offense takes its place on the field. 1st and 10, rails. The line of scrimmage is the 14-yard line. They open up with 2 receivers on each side of the formation, 1 back in the backfield, and now Storm at quarterback. It's Caden Storm. Rolls to his right, being flushed from the pocket, looks downfield, and he dumps it off incomplete. Almost into the hands of the Dowling defender standing right out of bounds, Owen Schultz. And we already seen that last week with Klein making a tremendous interception.
Yeah,
it looked like a receiver staying in bounds, and Schultz almost had a chance there.
He did. Jalen Pettis and then Russell Pearson, who's playing the end on this side of the field, were able to string that play out and not give him any avenues to run, because he really looked like he was looking for a spot to run there as there was no open receivers. The secondary had good coverage on that play.
So it'll bring up 2nd down and 10 for Lincoln. This time 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Lincoln going left to right or north to south here at Valley Stadium. We're in their visiting white uniforms, maroon numbers. There's a little lateral pass to the right side, and that is caught by Carter Storm. So one Storm finds another. Caden to his twin brother Carter, and no gain. Let's see. loss, and the play going to mark it back to the 12 on the lateral pass. He lost yardage.
Owen Schultz was not fooled in that play at all. He ducked under the blocker on that bubble play and got to the receiver right away and helped create that for a loss.
So a 2-yard loss on the catch. And it'll bring up 3rd down and 12 for Lincoln. Just underway first quarter. Dowling and Lincoln here on Iowa Catholic Radio. Glad you could join us. Hard to believe it's week 6 of the high school football season. 3 receivers left, 1 to the right. Read option to give us to the tailback, and the first carry of the night for Josh Jenkins, and he blasts his way across the 15, gets up to about the 18-yard line. Pick up a 6, but it'll bring up 4th and long for Lincoln.
Deontay Gerke and Jack Meyer on the stop there for the Maroons. And, there was a flash there. Jenkins is fast.
Yes, he is.
I mean,
Very
he hit
quick
that
young
line
man.
of scrimmage in a hurry and got through the first level, and the defense tightened up there to create the 4th down situation.
All right, back to punt for Lincoln will be Zach Williams, number 29, stands his own 5-yard line. Single safety back, and that's Stillwell. Low snap, but he gets it away. Nice punt that time by Williams, and it'll be a short punt, and finally fielded at the 40-yard line, 41-yard line in Lincoln territory. Lincoln player does something that they're going to call it back, and that was Miles Ludwood. Pushed it forward. You can't do that.
That's one of those plays you work on it all the time. You remind your kick returner that once that ball is touched, it's a live ball for you and there's no loss. You can pick that ball up and run. If you lose it, it goes back to the first touch. And so we always taught our kids, if that happens where that ball gets kicked forward like that, go up and scramble for it, make something happen. There's no loss.
And the ball is down at the Lincoln 41, as you mentioned. So that first touch was at the Lincoln 41. So a 23-yard punt, no return. Now here is Dowling with the football. Hank Hemrick, read option, fires the ball downfield. Pass is caught. Stillwell with the first down. A little crossing pattern from the right side to the left, and he's brought down right around the 25-yard line. It'll be a first down Dowling. Let's go down to our Shields sideline reporter, and that is John Chido. And Johnny, give us an update after that last Dowling defensive stand.
Yeah, Michael Keogh and Owen Schultz really.
The Dowling tackles, and Andrew Lynch tied in, and Tegan Johnson, well, his legs did a lot of that work too.
Yeah, they did. And that offensive line just dominated that defensive front there and just made quite an alley for Tegan to run through. And that's a good start. No penalties. Great start for the Maroon offense.
Absolutely. Now the extra point by the Maroons as Jake Calvert in the hold by Stillwell, who caught the first pass of the ball game, and it's up. And the Tomei & Sons extra point is good. I want to thank Mario Tomei and the folks at Tomei & Sons. 515-282-7676, 1501 Southeast First. As the Tomei & Sons extra point is good. Dowling 7-0 over Lincoln. 8:02 remaining first quarter. Back in 1 minute on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Central Bank is proud to support the unmatched spirit of sportsmanship and hard work exemplified by our local athletes. We're fans of high school sports and the way the big game and hometown team rally a community. Best of luck to all of today's competitors. Play hard, have fun, and make something great happen. Central Bank, member FDIC.
You want to get stronger, faster, healthier. You want more. You want to be part of something bigger than yourself. A place for people of all ages, all walks of life, that provides opportunities for all to succeed. We do that. We're the why. Build more than muscle. Build a stronger community.
All right, back here at Valley Stadium, here is the kickoff, and it's fielded once again by Lincoln's Rashad Hernandez-Duncan at about the 10-yard line, and returned. This time he doesn't get outside his containment. He just goes upfield right in front of the Dowling sideline, Matt, and that'll be a first down Lincoln right around the 20-yard line. That's where the Rails will take over. And let's go down to our Shields sideline reporter, and John Chido with the Dowling defense set up Dowling's first offensive series. Maroons got the ball in short yardage and only had to go 41 yards for the score.
Yeah, they sure did. And it was set up by their defense. They put them in Lincoln's in a bad situation. Set up a punt, went a short distance. But, Hank Emmer came out right away, threw a slant pattern to to Stillwell that set the tone for the Dowling's offense, and it was just play after play and right in the end zone for the Maroons.
Just like they drew it up. Thank you, John Chido, on the Dowling sideline. First down, Lincoln, and the read option, and carrying the ball is Caden Storm, the quarterback. He tries to get outside the numbers, and an individual tackle as he tried to turn upfield as he got outside the numbers. And guess who wouldn't have anything to do with it? Yeah. That was Owen Schultz.
That was
my goodness.
That was a heck of a play out there. And I was somewhat fooled. It's a great fake in the backfield there by Caden Storm, and he sprints to the sidelines looking for an angle to cut up, and Owen Schultz comes from out of nowhere like a bullet and knifes him down.
Caden, the Lincoln quarterback, and his twin brother Carter, a wide receiver. And Caden takes a 2-yard loss, so it's second down and 12 for the Rails. They work the left hash. They're going left to right towards the south end zone here at Valley Stadium. Here's a low snap. Storm picks it up. Wants to throw, does down the far sideline. The pass is
intercepted.
Is it intercepted or incomplete?
Yes, intercepted. I believe they're giving him possession.
And it's intercepted by Schultz. If it is, it is.
Yeah.
Delayed call on our officiating crew, but they had to make sure, and the two officials got together, made sure. Owen Schultz stepped right in front of the receiver and picked it off at about the 47-yard line of Lincoln. So a turnover gives Dowling the football, Matt.
The pass was a pretty decent pass, and Caden got hit just as he released it, and threw the ball up down the sideline. Owen Schultz had great position on the receiver and was able to come up with the football.
Yeah, let's go down to our Shield sideline reporter. And, John, we talked about this. Dowling forcing turnovers. They played great defense, but they don't have anything to show. Well, there they have.
Yeah, their second turnover of the season. It was great coverage by Shields, especially when you're in man coverage with the ball thrown on the outside like that. It's just a great play by the defense.
All right, and here's Gavin Williams in the ball game, and he's got the football loose on the near sideline, 30, inside the 20, and he's near the sideline and finally goes out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. So Gavin Williams goes from the Lincoln 47 and knocked out of bounds inside the rail 15-yard line. Nice run by Gavin. Same thing that Tegan Johnson did that last series, except Gavin ended up, instead of going over center, which he did, Matt, he bolted outside. He bolted left over left tackle.
Yeah, that play was designed to go to the right side, to the narrow side of the field, and Gavin took advantage of having the field spread out in front of him and just showed great vision and fighting his way through there and getting outside.
All right. Tegan Johnson, the game, he goes in motion, and a pass to him out of the backfield. Caught by Tegan. He's at the 10-yard line and finally wrestled out of bounds there. And they're going to say he stayed inbounds for a gain of 3. So that's when you have Tegan Johnson in the game as kind of that H-back. He went in motion, and they fake it to Gavin right up the gut, and a little swing pass to the right to Tegan.
Tegan makes a nice play, a nice adjustment in the air to catch that football and get a few yards. And it's one of those plays just to keep the defense honest. And you see Tegan come off the field and Schwager come into the football game now for the Maroons.
All right, Dowling now with Matt Stillwell as a receiver on the right side. And pistol formation, and here's a snap. And the give is to Gavin Williams, and he's going to get caught inside, but he bounces outside. Touchdown. Touchdown Dowling and Gavin Williams. And, there was nothing in the middle. Lincoln had that sealed off between the center and guard, so they wanted to protect the A-gap. Well, Gavin saw that, and he adjusted and went out and bounced outside to the left, went outside left tackle, and he sprinted to the pylon. Touchdown on the play, and Dowling now up 13-0, Matt.
Very similar to the play that he broke in the 2 plays prior, in that the play again was designed to go to the right side. The first defender for the Rail Splitters comes up, hits him, and then Gavin, with great balance, bounces and heads to the pylon.
All right, the extra point is up.
And
they're going to go
swinging gate.
Let's see who's the quarterback.
I've never seen a shift.
Stillwell
into the
Stillwell is now the quarterback. He's the holder, and he's going to hand it right up the gut, and it is short of the goal line, so they don't make it. And the score remains 13-0. So they run the old swinging gate, Matt.
Yeah. A lot of times you'll see a team start in the swinging gate and then shift into field goal position. This was in reverse. And you start in field goal position, shift into the swinging gate, and trying to take a dive straight forward, didn't make it.
So the To Me and Son extra point is no good.
No good.
All right, Mario, that's the first one this year. We owe you one. They'll take a break with 6 minutes remaining first quarter. It's Dowling 13-0 over Lincoln. Back in 1 minute here on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Hi, Ron John here, head coach of West Side Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to West Side Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury. Whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to West Side Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
Is this guy a contractor who does good work or a contractor who needs work? For a reliable recommendation, trust the Better Business Bureau, protecting consumers for over a century. When you go to bbb.org to check out a business, you'll learn if it's BBB accredited, see its grade on customer service, and read honest, useful reviews from local people. For online recommendations you can trust, start with trust at bbb.org/Iowa.
We're back. And welcome back to Valley Stadium on the kickoff by Dowling. The return this time by the Rail Splitters, and a nice job by Lincoln on that return. Richard Hernandez-Duncan on the return, and Lincoln will have it 1st and 10 from our own 29-yard line. Let's go down to our Shields sideline reporter, and that is John Chido. And John, the Maroons take advantage of a interception by Lincoln to march downfield and score their second touchdown here in the early going.
Yeah, and there was a lot of Gavin Williams on that play, and you were right, Mark. He was stopped cold in the backfield and kept his feet moving to the left and broke the tackle, initially hitting the 3 yards back in the backfield, and was able to get to the outside to the pylon for the touchdown. But it's interesting watching. He was right in front of me watching him the play before, how he runs. He can stop and go and keep his feet moving. It's quite impressive.
Yes, it is. Both Gavin and Tegan Johnson, the Maroons, are running dynamic duo at running back, do a good job. Now Lincoln being penalized on the return, so they had their best field position to start with, Matt, at their own 29-yard line. This thing's going back all the way to their 14 on the penalty.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. I didn't see what happened, if it was on the sideline, or on their sideline, or where the flag was thrown. And maybe John can help us out down there, but it was I didn't see the flag go down.
All right, 5:53 remaining here in the first quarter. Dowling leads at 13-0 as the Maroons score on a Gavin Williams 10-yard run. Extra point, well, the 2-point conversion failed, and the Maroons have a 13-0 lead. A drive that went 3 plays and 47 yards. And now Lincoln will start on their own 15-yard line. Storm at quarterback, pumps once, now wants to keep the football, and he will, as that is Caden Storm, the quarterback. Gets over the 15 and works the right side and gets near the 18-yard line for a gain of 3 to bring up 2nd and 7 for the Rails.
We're going to have a penalty in the backfield here. Russell Pearson had a lane to the quarterback, and I believe he was held. I think that we're going to see a holding.
Lincoln to the 4-yard line. This is the third penalty in this drive that started, well, originally on the 18-yard line, got backed up, and that was on the kickoff return. 3rd and 21. Storm out of the backfield. This is Caden, and he's being chased in the backfield. Slips a tackle, loses the football, and Dowling's got it. Touchdown in the end zone if they rule it that way, and they do. Touchdown Dowling. And it's a matter of who got it. We may have to go down to John Chido.
I didn't see who picked that ball up either.
Well, I know who was around it. Jackson Father was one. Johnny, who picked it up?
Christian Osley.
With the fumble return. And boy, how about that for a sack? And Storm, unfortunately, the quarterback for Lincoln, couldn't hold on to it. Better to take a safety.
Take the safety. I was thinking the same thing, Mark. He'd just been better if he'd ate that football instead of trying to do something with it at that point. He was wrapped up.
So Christian Owsley with the fumble, and that's 2 turnovers for Dowling tonight, both leading to scores. 19-0 is our score. Dowling with the lead. Owsley, a fumble recovery in the end zone. Calvert now will kick the extra point. Yes, they will kick it. The To Me and Sons extra point is up and good. And Dowling now leading 20-0 over Lincoln. 4:14 remaining first quarter. Back in 1 minute here on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Central Bank is proud to support the unmatched spirit of sportsmanship and hard work exemplified by our local athletes. We're fans of high school sports and the way the big game and hometown team rally a community. Best of luck to all of today's competitors. Play hard, have fun, and make something great happen. Central Bank, member FDIC. Central Bank is proud to support the unmatched spirit of sportsmanship and hard work exemplified by our.
And we're back here at Valley Stadium. Mark Amadale alongside Matt Mainring. Dowling set to kick off. And for the third time tonight, or actually the fourth time tonight, Jonathan Gonzalez boots it downfield, caught at the 19-yard line by one of the upbacks for Lincoln, and that is Matt Ramirez. Tries to get outside the numbers, running left towards the Lincoln sideline, and can't cut up field, and finally brought down right before the 25-yard line, and that's where the Rails will take over 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line. But Christian Osley, with little help from his friends, recovered the fumble in the end zone. John Chato, you were down there. Filer, and who else we say?
Well,
Pettis.
Jalen Pettis.
Pettis, there you go.
Came with the strip, so the Storm for the Lincoln quarterback broke the pocket and had it gripped one-handed, and Jalen Pettis made a nice play, came over and stripped the football, and Osley was able to recover it.
He certainly was, and led to another Dowling score. So there is 2 more turnovers this year for the Maroons, as Schultz had the interception that set up a touchdown, and now Osley with the fumble recovery with Pettis and Filer stripping the football. Now a little jet sweep for Lincoln. First time tonight they've run that play, and good yardage that time. They turned the corner with Josh Jenkins, and he gets upfield and picks up the first down. Now we got a score at the end of the first quarter. Southeast Polk leading Ankeny Centennial 3-0 in a top 10 matchup out at Pleasant Hill. And here it's a first down Lincoln, Matt.
Yeah, Jenkins there did a really good job. The offensive line created a crease for him, and the young man is very fast, and he hits the hole hard and accelerated through the line of scrimmage, and in the end it was Will Linhart with the tackle.
Jenkins picked up 13 yards and a Lincoln first down. 20-0, Dowling with the lead. 3.5 minutes remaining first quarter on a 57-degree night with a wind out of the south at 10 miles an hour. A little quick pass over to the left side, caught by Carter Storm. So one Storm throws it to the other, and a little quick hitch and maybe a couple yards on the play from the 38 up to about the 41-yard line.
You know, if you're going to go throw the football, you might not want to throw it towards Owen Schultz. He was right there, right at the point of attack, and Deontay Gerke also there on the tackle for the Maroons.
Caden Storm is the Lincoln quarterback. He completed the pass to his twin brother Carter, and now it's 2nd and 8, setting up the screen. The ball is knocked down incomplete as they tried to set up the screen pass to Brandon Kenny. Kenny, a wide receiver for the Rails, and that was well covered, and somebody got a deflection on it, Matt,
Jackson Filer is upset with himself because he was seeing pick 6, and it would have been a heck of a play. He read screen, on those screen plays, they let him come through on purpose, and then he read screen and tried to backpedal, got his hand up, and was able to deflect the football.
We want to thank Ashworth Vision Center along with construction professionals and Dental Associates for being part of our game tonight and supporting Iowa Catholic Radio's coverage of our 43rd year of Dowling Catholic football. 20-0 Dowling. It's 3rd and 8 for Lincoln, and now this is Storm, and he's trying to get outside, and the Lincoln quarterback going down. Caden had nowhere to go but near his sideline, and ends up getting tackled inside the 35-yard line. That'll be a loss in a play and bring up 4th down here, Matt.
Russell Pearson again on the play for the Maroons, and we said the defensive ends tonight were going to have to be the ones making plays because Caden likes to get outside the tackles and make things happen with his legs and his arm. And tonight, so far, the defensive ends have been where they needed to be.
6-yard loss on the sack, 4th and 14 Lincoln. And back to punt, good snap, and getting the punt away for the Rails is Zach Williams, and that sends Stillwell back, but he lets it bounce in front of him, and finally Lincoln will down it at the Dowling 39-yard line. This will be Dowling's worst field position of the night, as they've started at the Lincoln 41, the Lincoln 47, and the Lincoln 25. Well, now they'll start at the Dowling 40-yard line here, Matt, with 2:05 left in the first quarter.
And then our last defensive series, you started to see Dowling shuffle in a few different players. Will Linhart getting a chance to play some linebacker, and then Josh Axman was out there playing corner. and you're seeing the rotation starting to take over here on the for the Maroons.
And, of course, in 2 minutes, we'll have the Dowling step-rettes being introduced. Back to throw on first down, and airing it out downfield. Caught by Dowling, and that's Josh Jackman with the catch from Hank Hemrick. Touchdown. 60 yards in the air. Hank Hemrick airing it out to Josh Jackman, who got behind the single coverage.
Hank Hemrick threw a beautiful football right there. He dropped that thing in the bucket for Josh Jackman, almost caught him exactly in stride. And people have to appreciate how difficult that is to catch that over-the-shoulder ball, especially when it's straight down the field like that. Josh makes a good play, and quick 6 for the Maroons.
That's Dowling's 4th touchdown here in the first quarter, and it came on a 60-yard bomb from quarterback Hank Hemrick to Josh Jackman. Jackman, a 175-pound senior. Extra point is up and good by Calvert. And Dowling now with the lead, 27-0 over Lincoln. We come back. We'll go down to our sideline reporter, John Chido. But first, these messages here on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Save thousands in Waukee. Schottenkirk Chevy, Waukee. 2019 Silverado 1500 Double Cab up to 25% off. 2019 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab, LT or RST up to 20% off MSRP. Or up to $5,000 off plus 0% for 72 months. We're in a position to give you more for your trade in Waukee. 2019 Colorado up to $7,000 off. Or $5,000 off plus 1.9% for 60 months. Or 2.9% for 72 months. These won't last. Schottenkirk Chevy, Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise and your lights will go on. That's because at MidAmerican Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
And we're back here at Valley Stadium. Kickoff by Dowling, and Gonzalez sets it down at the 20-yard line. The return by Lincoln, and the young man gets it up to about the 30-yard line. Nice job that time by Des Moines Lincoln, and that is Connor Julius on the return, and that's where the Rails will have it 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Let's go down to, or 30-yard line, excuse me. Let's go down to the Dowling sideline. Minute 49 remaining in the first quarter. Dowling 27-0 over Lincoln. John Chido and our Shields sideline report.
Well, Mark and Coach, when Lincoln's playing 7 guys in the box, they're playing 2 safeties that are only 8 yards off the ball. Hank caught the ball right off the snap and went to Josh Jackman over the top. There was no help over the top. Josh was able to get inside release on the corner and made a nice pitch and catch for both Hank Hemrick and Josh Jackman.
He certainly did, and they caught Lincoln without any help there. Now a little swing pass to the right side. Thank you, John, for that report. Caden Storm completes the pass to Carter Storm on the left side. And he tried to get outside the numbers, and he's going to be actually tackled for a loss of 1 back to the 29-yard line, Matt, apparently.
Michael Keogh up on the stop from his safety position. They're trying to run that little bubble play, and he comes up in a hurry and puts a stop to it.
So to bring up 2nd down and 11 for the Rails. Storm back to throw. This is Caden Storm now running with the football. Will keep the football, cuts up field, and he's got some room, and he might go. He get across in the Dowling secondary. He's at the 20, at the 10, 5, touchdown, 71-yard run, and scramble by Caden Storm for Lincoln. And so the senior gets on the board first. And update from Southeast Polk and Ankeny Centennial. They're tied at 3 each. And here it's 27-6, Dowling leading Lincoln.
Caden's down in the end zone. I don't know if his teammates jumped on him or what. No, he's up. He's up.
Oh, he rolled his ankle.
Yeah, and
rolled his ankle, and he's hopping off.
Caden made a nice play there. He had open field, and just the field part in front of him, and then it was just a race down the sideline, and makes a nice play for the Rail Splitters.
71-yard run for the Lincoln quarterback, Caden Storm. And that was after they lost a yard when he threw it to his brother on the first play. Threw it to Carter, who caught it, but for a yard loss. Now Caden is down. He tried to get out of the end zone, and he went up to about the Lincoln sideline and is finally down at about the he's on the ground about the 8-yard line. Hopefully
he's
it's a mild sprain. Yeah. And the Dowling fans give him a hand, and they should. Nice run by that young man. So 1:03 remaining here in the first quarter. Dowling leading 27-6 as Lincoln quarterback Caden Storm takes it to the house on a 71-yard run, and now the extra point as the hold will be by Reese Martin. Marcus Cross is the snapper, and the extra point is up and good by Juan Sandoval, excuse me. Sandoval with the extra point. It's 27-7 our score. Back in 1 minute here on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
And welcome back to Valley Stadium. Mark Amadale alongside Matt Maindering. 27-7 is our score, 1:02 remaining. Kickoff by Lincoln. They do the onside kick, and was it Owen Schultz that picked it up or converged the ball? So it'll be Dowling football here, Matt. Let's go down to our Dowling sideline reporter, John Chido, and our Shields sideline report. Johnny?
Yeah, Mark, Carter Storm made a nice, or Caden Storm made a nice play breaking the pocket. The pocket broke down. He stepped up into it, and it was off to the races to the outside, and with his speed, he was able to get to the end zone.
He certainly was.
But I got John Michelson down here, so anytime you want to come down to us, Mark, let me know.
Our next break, we will. We're going to go right to into the first quarter. We may just keep it now. A handoff, and that is Tegan Johnson, who's back in the game. Dowling just kind of interchanging their tailbacks, and Tegan kind of runs a little jet sweep.
That was Gavin.
Or Gavin Williams, excuse
Gavin.
me.
Yep.
And he turned around the left end and tried to cut up field and finally brought down at about the 47-yard line. So a pickup of about 6 yards on the carry.
Gavin accelerates on and used a nice stiff arm out there. He had one guy on him, and he was able to take it and stiff arm him and get 2-3 more yards out of the play.
Yeah, picked up 6, so it's 2nd and 4 Dowling. And Gavin will stay in the backfield as they interchange him and Tegan. Handoff Gavin Williams right up the gut and tries to go over left tackle. He does, finds a seam. First down at the Lincoln 48-yard line. And as John Chido mentioned, we do have our men's stag winner and from the Iowa Catholic Radio men's stag earlier in the year, and that was John Michelson and his family. He brought his 4 boys, Tucker, Jack, Hanson, and Hunter. The Michelsons, you'll be navigating through that family here. They're right now at St. Francis, but they were here, and now is Mr. Gray in charge tonight?
I don't know who's in charge of that crowd tonight.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're at the end of the first quarter. When we come back, we'll visit with John Chido on the Dowling sideline. It's 27-7 at the end of the first quarter from Valley Stadium. Dowling with the lead over Lincoln on homecoming here on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network.
You want to get stronger, faster, healthier. You want more. You want to be part of something bigger than yourself. A place for people of all ages, all walks of life, that provides opportunities for all to succeed. We do that. We're the why. Build more than muscle. Build a stronger community.
Hi, Ron here, head coach of West Side Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to West Side Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury, whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to West Side Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
Welcome back to Valley Stadium, West Des Moines. Mark Amadale, Matt Maindring. And, you know, we always have guests in the press box. And I thought Ron Gray was in charge of security, one of your teachers.
I don't know.
Whatever happened with that.
I don't know. There's a lot of baby powder out there, though, right now.
There certainly is. There's Dowling now with the football as they change sides, but they'll let anybody in here. I think they smell the pizza and the baby powder.
The pizza might be the draw. The pizza might be the draw.
Kids are letting off baby powder, but thanks for bringing them up. My lovely wife bringing up her cousins who moved here from Michigan. Oh. And they're rooting for the Hawkeyes this weekend, I'm sure.
Oh, well,
Matt, let's get back to
the game.
There'll be no family reunion this year. Wayne and Jackie, thanks for stopping up. As we've got 2nd and 10 as we start the second quarter, Dowling with the lead here at Valley Stadium. They go back to the ground game, and good job by the Lincoln defense as see if Gavin Williams stayed in there.
Cameron Young on the stop for the Rail Splitters and makes a nice play in the backfield. And Gavin's been doing a lot of this little side shuffle. He gets in there and is able to go horizontal really quickly, and they make a nice play there for the Rail Splitters.
Right, Gavin Williams and Tegan Johnson just checked in, so the Maroons going with the dynamic duo at tailback, and they're both in the backfield. Hank Hemrick on 3rd and 10 from the Lincoln 48-yard line has them both back there, and they both split out. Back to throw Hemrick. Looks left, looks right, now keeps the football. Hank's got yardage, and he's down at the 40-yard line, and he'll be about a yard shy, maybe 2 yards shy of the first down, and bring up 4th and about 2 for Dowling at the Lincoln 40 there, Matt.
Yeah, Hank is looking down the field. On first down, they went deep again and tried to hit a quick score, and then on this play, they had the team spread out, they had the defense spread out, and Hank shoots up the middle. Now we got a 4th and short as we work into this play, and you got Gavin in the backfield with Hank Hemrick.
And split wide to the left for Dowling on this 4th and 2. Dowling switching sides. They're going into the wind. They go left to right, north to south here at Valley Stadium. Option play. Hemrick keeps it, and he's stacked up and finally driven down at the line of scrimmage for no gain. And a nice job by the Lincoln defense, led by big number 55 who corralled him, and that was Ramiro Gomez with the stop and no gain. And it'll bring Lincoln's offense on the field, and they hold on downs.
Yeah, Hank gets stopped up in the backfield there. He's going to watch that tape on Monday, or, when they watch tape, and he's going to say, Gavin was open on the pitch out there. It's hard to see, but credit the Rail Splitter defense on making a good play.
Certainly was, and they dialed it up. Let's go down to the Dowling sideline, and that is where John Chido is at. And, Johnny, I know you had a guest down there. Feel free to get Mr. Michelson involved when you can.
Yeah, he's right here. We've been waiting here for you, Mark. So any questions you want to ask, I'm just going to give him the mic and kind of fill in.
All right, he can fill right in. We'll get to him here in a second as Lincoln's offense on the field. 1st and 10, Rails from their own 41-yard line, and now we've got a timeout. We'll keep it here on this timeout. We'll go down to the field with our sideline, our guest sideline reporter apparently, and John Michelson. Are you with us?
I'm here.
All right, John, thanks for coming. I introduced your boys who are here, all 4 of them. Now, do you know where they're at? Because the officials will come up here and ask for me if they're loose on the field.
I've got the 4-year-old right in front of me, but the 7, 9, and 11-year-old are missing.
Unbelievable. Well, welcome to the broadcast. I'm with Matt Maindring, the principal at Dowling, and he's also my color guy. Matt, you got a question, or you're going to talk about enrollment with the Michelson family plan?
Well, we look forward to seeing him. I'm going to get his thoughts on the game so far. Let's give him a shot to go at it here.
You know what I like about John?
What's that?
He's an ex-Hawkeye.
Oh, there you go.
Now, it kind of stops there, John, because I know you're a Valley grad, but you married a Dowling girl. Is that right?
No, she actually grew up out of the state. But, yeah, I'm a Valley guy. And
Valley guy.
Favorite school growing up, but we've converted, and we couldn't be more blessed or more happy to be at St. Francis and eventually Dowling.
Well, we'll keep you on board here just a second here between plays as Lincoln takes a timeout and Storm back to throw, and he's hit and drop as Filer gets the sack in the backfield on 1st and 10, so that'll drive Lincoln back inside their 35-yard line. But, John, you played at the University of Iowa, but you're also currently a West Des Moines city councilman in your final term of office as you're elected not to seek another term.
That's right. With my business and then these 4 boys that I like to hang out with and coach, reprioritizing what's going on in life right now. So I will not be on the ballot in November, and so I'll serve till the end of the year, and then I'll be done.
Well, you've got plenty to take care of at home with those boys, your wife, and I can see all the activities you're in as we got another play here for Lincoln as a little swing pass out. It's incomplete as they try to hit Brandon Canny. Storm couldn't connect with him, so it'll bring up 3rd and long. And John, talk about your support of Iowa Catholic Radio. We met you at the Men's Stag, and I know you kind of bid on the opportunity to be here tonight, and you got to give a shout-out. I mean, this is your time. Who do you want to give a shout-out?
Yeah, it's such a great event. I guess I'll give a shout-out to Iowa Catholic Radio. But Men's Stag, it's out at Jim County's place, west of town, and it's always just a great event. Plenty of fellowship. It's in a great venue, and usually there's some really good auction items like this one, so I try to win the ones I can.
I just happened to be there when you bid on it, and I couldn't believe it. And then I found out you're a Valley grad. I really couldn't believe it. And now Storm is loose, and now he's hit and dropped in the backfield on a tremendous play by Dowling. And, Matt, I'll let you take that over. And he may have been shaken up, and now a penalty flag comes out late. As
well, we got the coach on the field.
That's why.
The
Lincoln head coach is out there, and Derek Summey may get ejected out of all this. He is hot.
Christian Owsley comes and makes a hit on the quarterback and ends up picking up the football and runs it back for a touchdown, I believe. I mean, the quarterback fumbled it. We lost it on all the play here. I'm not sure what the call is going to be.
They blew the ball down.
Oh, did they blow the ball down?
At the 23-yard line where Storm was hit. And Lincoln quarterback Caden Storm was hit and dropped. I mean, he was hit. And now we've go pick this up here. So the Lincoln coach, Derek Summey, has been ejected from the ball game is what our official told us. You can pick that up in our mic, and that is unfortunate. But he thought there should be a penalty on the Maroons because of the way his kid was hit, and he has now been ejected, and that's unfortunate. But 9:32 remaining, second quarter. Dowling 27, Lincoln 7. Now let's continue our conversation with John Michelson, the couple more months in office in West Des Moines. And, John, I got to ask you, your thoughts on this kind of surreal. I know you want to get out of office right now because of raising your kids, but it had to be pretty rewarding for you because that's why you got in it.
It was. Local politics is functional, so we all get along, and it's more about doing the right thing than party politics. And so it feels really rewarding to get to make a difference in people's lives, and we were able to do that. And West Des Moines is very blessed to have a lot of advantages that many other communities don't have around the world. So it was a great 7 years.
Yeah, I bet it was 7 years, and now you're the managing partner with Midwest Growth Partners, and that's quite a feat, being the kind of the CEO.
You okay?
Yeah, we got a great team, both within Midwest Growth Partners and then at our portfolio companies, and so they make it easy, but it's very rewarding to get to do that as well.
All right. Well, do you have your kids involved with parochial football, Jack, Tucker, Hanson, and Hunter, when they get old enough? Are they involved? Because the guy next to you down on that sideline is one of the coaches, so just kind of throwing that out there, Jack. Or John, rather.
Yeah, they're the three older ones are playing CFL, and Hunter, I think, thinks he's playing CFL, but he's a few years out yet. But, yeah, they have a great time, so they got games tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, the games tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Got to have games in parochial football.
That's right. That's right. Okay, the officials are coming to the sideline here to talk to both coaches. Not sure what's going on here as they bring Coach Wilson out onto the field.
So we'll keep it here, and John, you just hang out, whatever you want to do. If you want to come up here in the second half, you certainly can to keep warm. Usually some of the older adults make their way up to the press box because there's usually a bit of food up here or what's left of it.
Well, that sounds great. Appreciate the opportunity. You guys are doing a great job, and go Maroons.
Well, I look forward someday to be calling a Michelson name for Dowling. Whether it's Jack or Tucker first, or maybe Hanson or Hunter later. How about that?
That sounds awesome, guys.
All right. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
John Michelson, who was winner of our men's stag to be on the air. He's down with John Chido on the Dowling sideline. And, Matt, we got a hold up, and that's because of that sack. Lincoln quarterback was hit. And
I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. They've got Coach Wilson. I'm not sure if what's going on with the game and everything else right now. We just got a long stoppage of play after that hit, and waiting for everything to get settled down here.
Well, it's fourth and long for Lincoln. Rails are backed all the way up to their 12-yard line when we resume after that sack by Dowling. And I don't know if you got that back in your your replay phone there, Matt, but
well,
that's what the problem
was. The coach took issue with the fact that Christian really didn't break down when he hit the quarterback. He hit him and went right through him and didn't break down and make a form tackle on him. He had an angle on him and kind of dropped his shoulder and threw the shoulder into his chest and not into in making a form tackle.
And I think Tom's situation is, Coach Tom Wilson is, they have to have an administrator that has to be with him. So I think they're trying to get Coach O'Connor or somebody else to take that role, and Tom's trying to facilitate that. So now he's got the AD hat on. So Matt, if you have to get involved, I certainly understand.
Well, I'm checking things out right now, and.
Well, let's take a break here on Iowa Catholic Radio. That'd probably be our best bet. With 9:32 remaining, second quarter, Dowling 27, Lincoln 7. Mark Amadeo, Matt Mainring, John Chido. We want to thank John Michelson for being with us tonight as our sideline guest. And we're going to take a break as we have a stoppage in play. When we come back, it's 4th down and 40 for Lincoln from their own 11-yard line. When we return here at Valley Stadium on Dowling's homecoming on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Every month or so, there's another story in the media about when and how often we need to get our mammograms. Kind of confusing. When this happens, I like to consult with experts. So I called Iowa Radiology. They recommend women get an annual mammogram starting at age 40. They know that it's the best way to detect cancers early and save lives. And that's good enough for me. Visit iowaradiology.com or call to schedule your mammogram. Iowa Radiology, our focus is your good health.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game, Shields.
And welcome back to Valley Stadium, West Des Moines. Mark Amadeo alongside Matt Mainring, who has made his way down to the field to help facilitate the Lincoln ejection. Lincoln head coach has been ejected, and that is Derek Summey after that last play. John Chido, you're still with me on mic
I'm
on the
here.
sideline. And
yep.
I'll tell you what, it's been a long delay, and I'm not sure exactly what the referees and they needed Coach Wilson involved with. Have you heard anything from your end down there?
Yeah, it's not Derek Summey. It was an assistant coach that came onto the field after the play in the hit on the Lincoln's quarterback. And things were said, and they had to restrain one of the coaches. And now the police are involved, administrators, and they're just trying to settle the situation, which it has been. And they're right, the staff was right on top of it. So we're just kind of waiting for that to. Right now, Mark.
Okay, and nonetheless, the players they may have to warm up here after this. If we got an update from Ankeny and Southeast Polk, last report that top 10 matchup was tied at 3-all, and and other games we have 10-3 now. Centennial leading Southeast Polk out at Pleasant Hill. Other games going on in District 1 play. Hoover is at Lincoln tonight. Hoover's at Ankeny tonight, and that's 10th ranked Ankeny. In District 2, Ankeny Centennial at Southeast Polk. There's number 6 versus 7, and right now Centennial with a 10-3 lead. Fort Dodge ranked 8th at Des Moines Roosevelt, who's ranked 9th in District 2. That game being played at Drake Stadium. And Marshalltown at Sioux City West. And now we're set to resume, and it's 4th down for Lincoln, and they'll be punting from their own end zone. Back deep to punt is Zach Williams. It gets it away. It's a short end-over-end kick. Dowling will let it bounce at the 40, and Stillwell picks it up at midfield, drops the football, picks it back up. He's down the near sideline at the 40, 35, 30, and he's finally run down just shy of the 30 or 25-yard line. So the Maroons will have tremendous field position, and they'll have a first down leading 27-7 with 9:15 remaining here in the first quarter. And John, that was about a 10-minute delay with all that, Johnny. So I don't know if everybody's all warmed up. We'll see who all comes in the game because I think both teams have kind of went to their bench here a little bit.
Yeah, that's I've never seen that before in high school football, so that's something new. That situation that happened, that little is going to have some type of effect. But Stillwell, there on the punt return, he mishandled a little bit, but got nice yardage, and Dowling's going to start with good field position.
Yeah. First down, Dowling from the 26. Back to throw is Hemrick. Fires towards the end zone, and a back shoulder throw is incomplete, underthrown to Louis Brooks down the left part of the end zone. Dowling going towards the south end zone here, and they threw it to the far end, and it's incomplete. It'll bring up second down and 10 for Dowling from the Rail Splitter 26. And we want to thank our supporters of Iowa Catholic Radio. They've been with us throughout the season, and we continue to thank Kemen, Mercy One, and Two Rivers Glass and Door for supporting our broadcast all season long. Second down 10. Lincoln back to throw and play action is Hemrick looking downfield, now throws it out in the near the right flat, and it's caught by Gavin Williams, and he's hit and dropped right about the 22-yard line of Lincoln. So he'll pick up 4 yards, and it'll bring up third down and 6 for the Maroons at the Rail 22. And that time, Johnny,
we had both Teagan and Gavin in the backfield at the same time. They tried to hit Teagan on a little wheel route, and it didn't. It was kind of slow developing, and then they dumped it off to Gavin Williams there in the flats and pick up a couple yards for the Maroons.
Yeah, that's certainly true. And now it's different packages coming out with that the Dowling offense. This time they have 3 receivers left, 1 to the right, and that's Stillwell. And the quarterback is Hank Hemrick from the Dowling 23. Hemrick fakes once. Now lost it downfield, and it's caught. Teagan Johnson with it inside the 10 at the 5, spins out of a tackle, and he'll dive for the end zone down at the 1-yard line. He'll pick up 22 yards and a Dowling first down. And what an effort that time by Teagan Johnson. He spun at the 5-yard line, Johnny, and he almost made it in.
Yeah, he sure did, and it was a screen pass that was set up, and he got down. He lost handle of the football, but he was down the 1 yard. He was just trying to reach across the goal line, Mark.
He certainly was. So it's first and goal Maroons, and now quarterback sneak. And do they push Hemrick in? No signal yet. And touchdown Maroons. Dowling with the quarterback sneak by Hank Hemrick. And they add on to their score of 33-7 pending the extra point. So quarterback sneak that time, Johnny. And the Maroons go downfield as they took advantage of a nice return that time by Matt Stillwell on the punt return.
Yeah, that drive was set up by the Dowling defense. They pinned Lincoln back to the goal line, and then Stillwell with a nice return, and Gavin Williams with the dump off in the flats, and then Teagan Johnson with a nice run to get him down the 1 yard line.
Now the Toomey and Sons extra point is no good by Calvert. So the score remains Dowling 33, Lincoln 7 with 8:38 remaining in the second quarter. Back in 1 minute here on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Save thousands in Waukee. Schottenkirk Chevy, Waukee. 2019 Silverado 1500 Double Cab up to 25% off. 2019 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab, LT or RST up to 20% off MSRP. Or up to $5,000 off plus 0% for 72 months. We're in a position to give you more for your trade in Waukee. 2019 Colorado up to $7,000 off. Or $5,000 off plus 1.9% for 60 months. Or 2.9% for 72 months. These won't last. Schottenkirk Chevy, Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
Welcome back to Valley Stadium as Dowling goes 5 plays and 26 yards, capped off by a Hank Hemrick 1 yard run. The extra point no good, and now here's a kickoff by the Maroons and fielded by the Rails, and that's Richard Hernandez-Duncan on the return, and he's run out of bounds as he crosses the 25-yard line. So Dowling now extends its lead, John Chido, to 33-7, and I'll tell you what, the Maroons taking advantage of great field position. That time you can credit Matt Stillwell. He took that punt, bobbled it, and took it from his own 48 and returned it to the Rail Splitter 26 to give Dowling great starting position.
Yeah, they've had great starting field position all night, and Lincoln has a couple times too, but then they shoot themselves in the foot with penalties, just like they did right here. Another holding penalty, and the ball brought back inside the 20 at the 18-yard line.
Yeah, they would have had the ball right about the 30-yard line, John, and that penalty is going to back them up. So the Rails will start deeper in their own territory at their own 18-yard line, and of course you're going to catch up with head coach Tom Wilson, John, at halftime. Give us his update. My partner up here is still involved with the situation that happened earlier with the Lincoln coach, so we'll keep you on mic down there. You sound cold.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit chilly, but that delay didn't help, but starting to move around a little bit and getting warm.
All right, a little swing pass the right side, caught by the Rail Splitters, and trying to get outside the numbers is a receiver, and just a couple yards for, I believe it was Anderson or Canny, and it gets up to the 20 for a gain of 2 to bring up 2nd and 8, Johnny.
Yeah, the Dowling defense has been able to close strong on those perimeter passes that Lincoln's been trying to throw. Obviously, they're having trouble to run up the middle, and they're trying to get the ball to the perimeter, but Dowling defense has been closing really well with their team speed.
They certainly have, and now it is 2nd and 8 for the Rails. 3 receivers left, one on the right. Tailback in the backfield is Josh Jenkins. Quarterback is Caden Storm, and Caden now will keep the football and get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it, as he spread everybody out but couldn't find anybody to throw to. Calvin McIlvain was one receiver on the near side. Jenkins got split out to the left, and Johnny, they couldn't come up with anything there, so it's 3rd and 7 now for the Rails.
Yeah, that was Will Linhart on the inside linebacker position. He closed up the middle and was able to contain Caden Storm.
So they'll call it 3rd and 7 Lincoln. Caden Storm at quarterback, 2 receivers left, 2 to the right. Back to throw. Storm has time now, puts his head down, a run for it, and he gets across the 22, maybe to the 23-yard line. He'll gain a couple yards and it'll bring up 4th down for Lincoln. So it'll be about 4th and about 5. And the punting unit coming in. And once again, John, I know Dowling's substituting some players with some of the starters, and the Maroon defense once again holds.
Yeah, and that time you had 2 sophomores for the Dowling defensive line, Jalen Pettis and Chase Patton, both at their one defensive end and defensive tackle, that put the pressure and forced Caden Storm to flush the pocket there, Mark.
All right, so Lincoln forced to punt, and their punter will come in tonight. That's Zach Williams, stands at his own 12-yard line, gets it away, and a fair catch signal for by Stillwell right at midfield, and he catches the ball right in traffic. So with 6:26 remaining, second quarter, Dowling will have the football 1st and 10 on the Lincoln 49-yard line, as the Dowling offense will come onto the field, and want to recognize and thank Skeffington's Formal Wear, R&R Realty, and the Catholic Tuition Organization for their support of Dowling Catholic football, and sponsors. Been on the air 43 years, our 43rd year of covering Dowling Catholic football in the fall. Now 1st down Dowling from the Lincoln 49. Hank Hemrick remains at quarterback, and the give in the backfield, and looks like a Chase Hauschilt now in the backfield for the Maroons as he gets his first carry. So we're seeing the Maroons start to substitute here in the final 6 minutes of the second quarter here, John.
Yeah, that was Chase Hauschilt on a little stretch play, and he was able to get inside the Dowling or the Lincoln defensive line for a nice gain there.
2nd down and 8. They'll give him a gain of 2 down to the 47. And now Hemrick back to throw, fires it out, and the pass is caught. A sliding catch that time by Matt Stillwell, coming towards the middle of the field from left to right. And he's down to the 42-yard line to pick up a 5 on the play. It'll bring up 3rd and 4 now. Still running a nice pattern that time, Johnny, from the left side.
Yeah, it was a slant pattern, got inside position, and the ball's thrown a little bit low, but Matt went down and made a nice catch there.
So Rails now showing a 3-man front on defense. Now a 4-man front as one comes up, and now the handoff to Hauschilt right up the gut, tries to bounce outside, and he's hit and dropped the line of scrimmage. No gain of the play. It'll bring up 4th down for Dowling. 4th and 4 for the Maroons at the Rail Splitter 42-yard line. I'm sure Dowling will go for it here, John.
Yeah, they've had great field position. Their defense has been strong all night, so I wouldn't expect them to think twice about it. They are going to go for it, Mark.
Game clock winding, under 5 minutes remaining here in the first half. And don't forget, at halftime, our sideline reporter, John Chida, will catch up with head football coach Tom Wilson of Dowling, get his perspective. We'll also have our halftime guests, a couple of Hall of Fame inductees this year, Claudia Farrell and Tommy Gall. And now a pass is caught. Louis Brooks with the catch. First down, Dowling. Nice run that time by Louis after the catch. But a nice pass that time by Hank Hemrick. Rolled to his right, Johnny, and found Louis about 10 yards downfield. And Louis got another 10 on his own.
Yeah, Louis ran a nice little speed out there. He got the defensive back to turn it inside and was able to create space. And Hank threw a nice ball as Louis turned into it and turned upfield and made a nice gain.
19-yard reception that time for Louis Brooks, and it's a first down, Dowling at the rail splitter 21-yard line. Halftime score, Ankeny Centennial leading Southeast Polk 10-3 at halftime in Pleasant Hill. And a handoff is the house show, and he's got some room, puts his arm behind one of the big offensive linemen, gets all the way down. They're going to spot his knee down at the 12-yard line. That's a 9-yard gain on the play. And I'll tell you what, House, you almost lost him in there because he was behind the big lineman, John.
Oh, when you get behind Charlie Nank, it's easy to get lost there in between the tackles. But nice blocking up front by both Joe Ryan and Charlie Nank.
2nd and 1 for the Maroons. High snap. Hemrick makes the grab, hands off to House, and he bowls his way inside the 5, still on his feet down to the 4-yard line, a pickup of 8. And a Dowling first down, so it's first and goal to goal, Dowling at the 4-yard line. And again, offensive line push, and you mentioned Nank still in there. Ryan, Sinnott, Bowles, and Stein all got the start tonight. I don't know if they're all still in there, Johnny, but they made a nice push.
Yeah, they sure did, and I like that rule, like I think Coach mentioned a couple of weeks ago, where the offensive line's able to push the pile, and that's exactly what happened there, Mark.
All right, first and goal on the 4. Hauschild gets the handoff, and he's hit and driven back in the backfield as he tried to get outside containment, ran to his left, and he was drugged down from behind. Nice play by the Lincoln defender that time, Johnny.
Yeah, that was Cameron Young. He split the Dowling defenders. He was coming on a blitz, and he blitzed in the right gap there. That's where the Dowling running back, Hauschild, was running, and made a nice play.
Yeah, loss of 5. It'll bring up 2nd and goal back at the 9-yard line of Lincoln for the Dowling offense. They're going to bring in Tegan Johnson and Gavin Williams with this set. Hank Hemrick remains the quarterback as Hauschild comes out. Stillwell, receiver to the left, and Louis Brooks still is a receiver to the right. Back to throw is Hemrick. Looks to his left, tries a back shoulder throw. It's incomplete to Gavin Williams coming out of the backfield, and that'll bring up 3rd down and goal. 3rd and goal from the 9-yard line, and that time Hank had Gavin Williams in his sights because he had single coverage over there, John, but unfortunately he underthrew the ball.
Yeah, Gavin came out of the backfield and just went down the short side of the field too, Mark, and still was able to create separation from the Lincoln defender. The ball was just thrown a little bit short, and Gavin was unable to come up with it.
So Maroons now will go back to a 3rd and goal from the Lincoln 9. 2:55 remaining. The game clock stopped. Here's Hemrick. Back to throw, rolls to his right, fires in the end zone. Pass is caught. Touchdown. Touchdown, Matt Stillwell on a catch that he had to come down for. And I'll tell you what, nobody was going to touch that, John. Matt went to his knees and went to his arms, and with a nice touchdown reception that time by Stillwell from 9 yards out.
And it's really good to see Hank broke the pocket. He was on the run and was able to throw the ball on the run and throw it in a place where only Matt Stillwell could get it. So it was a nice throw by Hank Hemrick and a great catch by Matt Stillwell.
You know, as a quarterback, and I know Hank is just so focused, the touchdown counts, and now the extra point is coming. But it's thrown it where the defender's not at, and that time the only person that could have even reached it was Stillwell, and Matt showed great hands that time and athleticism.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, especially throwing it on the run like that. You don't see that too often at this level, and other than if you're Ryan Boyle or a kid playing up at UNI named Will McIlvain. But that was a good throw by Hank.
Certainly was. Calvert in for the extra point. Stillwell, who made the touchdown reception, will hold, and the ball is down. The kick is up, and it is good. So the Maroons increase their lead to 40-7 over Lincoln with 2:48 remaining here in the second quarter. Back in 1 minute on Dowling Homecoming here on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Save thousands in Waukee. Schottenkirk Chevy, Waukee. 2019 Silverado 1500 Double Cab up to 25% off. 2019 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab, LT or RST up to 20% off MSRP. Or up to $5,000 off plus 0% for 72 months. We're in a position to give you more for your trade in Waukee. 2019 Colorado up to $7,000 off. Or $5,000 off plus 1.9% for 60 months. Or 2.9% for 72 months. These won't last. Schottenkirk Chevy, Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game, Shields.
Welcome back to Valley Stadium, West Des Moines. Mark Amberdale alongside John Chido. Matt Mainring will be joining us here shortly, hopefully, as Dowling now leading 40-7. And about set to kick off here, Johnny, as things are getting out of hand here in the press box. It's not so much my first guest at halftime, Claudia Farrell, Hall of Fame inductee tonight. It's her dad that's bothering me right now, John.
Oh, you got great company up there.
Yeah.
It's starting to rain down here. I wish I was up there with you guys, especially now that Willie's here.
Easier said than done. I'll take the umbrella and switch with you if you want.
Oh, you're in great company. You kidding me?
The Willie Farrell's up here, and yeah, we're kind of losing control, but Dowling capitalizing on that last drive that Matt Stillwell on the 9-yard touchdown reception. They go 49 yards on the drive. Maroons lead it 40-7. Here's a kickoff returned by Lincoln, and once again that's Rashard Hernandez-Duncan on the return, and he gets it across the 15, maybe the 16-yard line, and that's where the Rails will start 1st and 10. And we want to thank tonight's sponsors. They've been with us throughout the season. Ashworth Vision, Construction Professionals, and Dental Associates. And Johnny, I'm going to bring you in because we know the Tumia family well, and the Maroons have missed an extra point. They missed a 2-point conversion. So how do you tell them that the Tumia and Sen extra point is good? I guess you really can't.
Well, I blame you for that because you did say earlier today that Calvert was 100% on extra points. Did you not? Huh?
I don't remember that. I don't remember that. Thanks for that. Yeah.
But,
and I put the Fosh right on him, didn't I? Yeah.
It's amazing how things happen like that.
Now let's keep an eye on the Dowling defense, see if we've got a few starters out right now as Coach Wilson's substituting liberally. And now a little inside handoff, a draw play, and they give it to the tailback. Josh Jenkins does Lincoln on a first down carry from his own 15-yard line. And Jenkins got up about the 17, 18-yard line. That's something you don't see very often, John, that delayed draw.
Yeah, they're trying to slow down the Dowling defense when you see that type of play, Mark. And I'm impressed with Josh Jenkins. He's only a sophomore, and he's a track athlete as well, as you can tell with his speed. And he runs the football hard for a sophomore.
He certainly does. I got a guy on mic here, Johnny, so don't say anything negative. Willie Farrell has got the headset on.
Do we have a 7-second delay?
No, we don't. It's Iowa Catholic Radio. You're not on the FM station.
Darn.
Yeah.
I did say darn. That works.
2nd and 7 Lincoln, and storm the handoff to Jenkins, and maybe a yard up to the 18-yard line. Willie Farrell, you got to be a proud papa.
I
have to be.
I can't even tell you how happy I am. And
we are too.
Thank you very much. And she conducted herself well today. She actually got up for her speech today and said, I'm gonna go old school like my pop and just kind of wing it. And she did, and she was great. She spoke from her heart and just said everything that she felt, and it was great. And I couldn't be happier.
Well, you should be. And we all are very proud of Claudia going to the Dowling Catholic Hall of Fame as the other inductees.
Yes.
And we're gonna interview her at halftime.
Yes.
So anything you want to set me up with her, a question that maybe nobody would think to ask?
Yeah, you can ask her who her favorite umpire of all time is.
Oh, yeah, that'll go
We'll see how that goes.
John Chido, I probably won't get a vote there, as you know.
Yeah.
Johnny, you want to say hi to Willie?
Hi, Johnny.
Willie, how you doing? It's good to have you.
Good. I listen to you guys when I don't get to come to many games, but when I do, I listen to you guys. You guys do a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Really do.
Thank you. It's pressure. lot of pressure.
Yeah, I know that. You're following one of the old-time greats, Brian Morris, and you're picking up the slack right where he left it.
Well, it's hard to get a word in with Mark, especially when you only have about 2 seconds to get about 15 things in.
Yeah, I know. I like he asks you a long question, and then you have no chance to answer.
You have no chance to answer.
It's great.
All right, Lincoln with the football. They got a first down, a minute remaining at the rail splitter 27-yard line.
I got one question.
Go ahead, Willie.
Okay, when after 35 points, it goes to
second half.
Okay,
Running
only
clock.
in the second half.
Only in the second
half.
half.
How did Roosevelt score 93 points?
We're all wondering that. It happened in Sioux City, so we don't know.
Okay.
But
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Maybe Coach Chido on the sideline might help you out with that. Johnny?
It's bad defense and special teams, I imagine.
There you go.
I'm guessing the other team just got on the bus and Roosevelt kept playing or something.
It was not good, and now we've got a whistle and a timeout here with 31 seconds remaining. Dowling leading 4-7. Joined in the press box by Willie Farrell, whose daughter Claudia went into the Dowling Catholic Athletic Hall of Fame earlier today. And a very proud papa. Yes. So that was my one question. You want me to ask her favorite umpire is?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Oh, boy.
And let's just see how savvy she is.
Yeah, well, thank goodness most of my colleagues are out refereeing high school football tonight, and maybe a few. But Willie, you sat on that pail for a lot of times, catching and catching.
I was the bucket dad.
You're the bucket dad, yeah.
And Claudia made it very clear that a lot of times there was a lot of catching the ball, and there was a lot of just running down to the bottom of the street before it went into the sewer. And
did you have to go in the sewer about once a month?
Yeah, I wasn't blessed with a lot of foot speed, so we lost a lot of balls.
All right, back to throw is Storm, and he fires out the backfield. The pass is caught across the 20 up to the 25. Is the Lincoln receiver, Brandon Canny, and he's shy of the first down. That might be the final play of the first half. Now, this is the time we go down to Johnny Chido. Yes. We'll get him to talk to head coach Tom Wilson. But, Willie, this has been great having you on.
Thank you. It's one I have to have a girl that goes in the Hall of Fame to get on this show, but oh well, I'll take it.
Johnny?
Hey, Willie, congratulations too. I've been trying to get that in for the last 3 minutes, but Mark won't give me any time.
I cut his mic because he was making too much noise.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, John Chido has head coach Tom Wilson. Dowling leading at halftime 4-7 over Lincoln. Take it away, Johnny.
Coach, great start to the first half. Things rolling on both sides of the football. You were able to get in some good rhythm to start the game with a nice pass, pitch and catch from Hank Hemmer to Stillwell. Nice running by both Gavin and Teagan, and a lot of guys getting in early.
Well, they are, and the guys that started, we kind of told them that was their responsibility. If we do the things that we want to do, then we can get a lot of kids in the game, which is certainly something we want to do.
And that's also nice to see this early in district play, and it got a lot of guys experience, and we'll probably see a lot more of that in the second half.
Oh, hope so. We got to build depth and hopefully be better at the end, and these kids have to play.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second half. Thank you.
Thank you, John, with head coach Tom Wilson at halftime. Dowling with the lead 40-7. Let's take a look at our first half statistics in this contest, and for the Maroons, Dowling with 241 yards of total offense, Lincoln with 88, Dowling with 140 in the air and 101 yards on the ground, Lincoln with 19 yards passing and 69 yards on the ground. Lincoln has committed 2 turnovers in this contest. Hank Hemrick, the Dowling quarterback, 8 out of 11 passing, 140 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Caden Storm, the Lincoln quarterback, 7 out of 11 for 19 yards and 1 interception. The leading ball carrier for Dowling is Gavin Williams, 5 carries, 56 yards, and a touchdown. Teagan Johnson, 4 carries, 22 yards, and a touchdown. And Chase Halschelt, 5 carries for 13 yards. Hank Hemrick, 3 carries, 8 yards. The Dowling quarterback has a touchdown to his credit. Rushing for Lincoln, Caden Storm, the quarterback, 8 rushing attempts, 47 yards, and a touchdown tonight. And Josh Jenkins, 6 carries for 22 yards. The leading receiver for Dowling, Matt Stillwell, 3 catches for 31 yards and a touchdown. Josh Jackman, 1 catch for 60 yards and a touchdown. And Teagan Johnson, 2 catches for 24 yards. Louis Brooks, 1 catch for 22 yards. For Lincoln, Carter Storm, 7 catches for 19 yards. Again, total offense for Dowling in the first half, 241 yards, Lincoln with 88. We'll take a break here at halftime. We come back, we'll have our Hall of Fame interviews, including Tommy Gall, and our next guest will be Claudia Farrell. So stay tuned. We're looking forward to that here on Iowa Catholic Radio. Our score, Dowling 40, Lincoln 7. Back with more from Valley Stadium on Dowling's homecoming here on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Is this guy a contractor who does good work or a contractor who needs work? For a reliable recommendation, trust the Better Business Bureau, protecting consumers for over a century. When you go to bbb.org to check out a business, you'll learn if it's BBB accredited, see its grade on customer service, and read honest, useful reviews from local people. For online recommendations you can trust, start with trust at bbb.org/Iowa.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise and your lights will go on. That's because at MidAmerican Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
And welcome back to Valley Stadium, West Des Moines, homecoming for Dowling as they lead Lincoln 40-7 here at halftime. And I'm joined by one of the latest Hall of Fame inductees at Dowling Catholic High School, and that's Claudia Farrell. Kiddo, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What year were you?
2014.
And you got the diploma?
Yeah.
Is that the one your dad still frames in his, when he goes on
the
stage?
shrine, yeah.
My daughter graduated.
High school.
And college.
Yeah.
At Grandview.
Yeah.
Big
time.
What a career you had.
Thank you.
Now, we talk about players being multiple sport athletes. I think your dad was a multiple sport athlete because he caught you on, he was bucket dad. Then he was running down the street trying to keep the softballs from going into the gutter. Is that true?
Yeah, and he's beating people up, boxing too.
I heard about that. I don't mess with him, but I say nice things about him most of the time. Claudia, talk about your career. I mean, you were kind of a multiple sport athlete until you started, getting into softball and pitching and clinics and all of that, and you had quite the career. I heard about it before you got to Dowling from guess who? Your dad.
Oh yeah, of course.
You're that little league rec stuff, and then playing club ball. But what a year you had, and then what a season you've had. What a career you had at Dowling and at Grandview. And talk about the work that went into it, because it just doesn't come naturally, does it? I mean, you had to put a lot of work into it.
A lot of hard work. Once I started getting really into pitching, then that's when I started just focusing on softball a little bit more and hitting, fielding, and just every aspect of softball. I started diving in. But yeah, it wasn't an overnight deal.
Now, I know that besides being an outstanding pitcher, and I've got those numbers here around me somewhere, folks, so stay tuned. But
in his brain.
But you were a tremendous hitter. And I know when we got in the coaching part where high school and college coaches, they wouldn't let you hit. They put the DH or the DP in or whatever league you were playing in. You could hit. You could hit the ball. That was interesting because I always gave you grief over. I don't know about others.
It was a hit or miss. It was.
Yes.
I'm swinging for the fence every time.
Yeah.
Little man syndrome. I have.
Well, that's right. The height syndrome. Yeah, that's right. You get that from your dad, not your mom. All right. So let's look at this. 2010, 8th grader, Dowling placed 7th in the state tournament. From that point on, 5th place finish at state. 5A state champs back in 2013, and he finished 3rd in 2014. That had to be a run that I don't think can be matched a lot by a lot of folks saying you've been in the state tournament 5 straight years, but you had a lot of fun with your teammates, and that's what's really important. You had a lot of fun there.
Oh, yeah. It was cool. I grew up with the girls that I got to play with through I think I went to St. Anthony's with like 7 girls on my state championship team, which was pretty neat. And then when we went my senior year, it was me and a bunch of little girls, and it was awesome. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
First team, Class 5A, all-state pitcher all 4 years. We won't count the 8th grade year. Your dad does, but all 4 years. He pitched Dowling to the 5A state championship to 2013. This is Claudia Farrell, folks, on TV and on radio, inductee in the latest inductee of the Dowling Hall of Fame. Career pitching stats in high school: 61 and 23, 708 strikeouts, 209 walks, and a 2.17 ERA. Who's keeping those numbers?
Oh, I wonder who's. Wait, let me see some of those.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, that's the 209 walks is the most alarming one.
It is, because you didn't have that problem in college. Your nicknames are Bear and Frotto.
Yeah, Frotto's mostly from you.
I know that.
I hear that.
What's from your family, your family heritage?
When I'm at games at Grandview, people are like, why is he calling you Frotto? Why do you know the umpire?
What do you tell him? Maybe I don't know
anything about him.
All right, so now we know about your dad. He was on. He got his airtime earlier tonight, and he didn't say anything out of line. How does that happen?
Hey, that's good.
Your mom is Jenny,
Yep.
and successful tremendous person, great realtor here in town. I give her so many accolades. Number one, she's married to your dad, so she's going right to sainthood. So, but they have been a great influence on you. Is that right, Claudia?
Yeah, they have come to every single softball game. I don't think they've missed one. Yeah.
My gosh.
Not very many people can say that.
So Dowling, you had all those accolades. Now you go to Grandview. Why not go, play for, some of the bigger schools like that, a D1 school. You wanted to go to Grandview right here in Des Moines and play NAIA softball and then deal with us.
I wasn't getting recruited when I was right out of high school, or in high school. I wasn't getting recruited, but when we went to some tournaments, they were looking at me for outfield, and we kind of got a little cocky. We were like, well, a lot of these schools are looking for outfield. Maybe we should wait it out for pitching.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing really came around because of my height, until after my junior year when we won state. So once I commit to Grandview, I didn't want to back out, and I was able to. I was not just a pitcher there. I could hit for myself, and I was able to play the outfield, which is something I would not have a chance to do at a Division I school.
Claudia Farrell's my guest here at halftime. Athletic Hall of Fame inductee 2019 for Dowling, and Grandview career. First Grandview softball player ever to be named a 4-time first-team All-American pitcher. ERA of .89. Your ERA in college is better than in high school.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
And you should be commended for that. And career record, 104 wins, 20 losses at Grandview, despite the umpiring that you sometimes got. But currently you're a grad assistant and pitching coach for the Grandview University softball team, but the head coach of the Dowling softball team. First year last summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we'll say.
Well, I understand. And folks that don't know, kind of turn over to the Dowling softball team a little bit, but I think it has to do with rebuilding. Got to start with the PA announcer.
Of course.
Now, the guy that was doing the PA for some of the Dowling home games was your dad.
Yeah.
So you got to start the rebuild there.
Yeah, that's very true. We have a group of really good, young, talented girls, and I think that they work really hard, and I think that we'll get back on track.
I got a question from one of our callers, our listeners. We have a couple of them out there. You want to be a high school principal? Is that you?
No, it's not me.
Okay, then that wasn't the.
That is definitely
not me. That was meant for Tommy Gall. Never mind, that was meant for Tommy Gall.
Don't put me in a high
All
school.
Right. Well, talk about today. Inducted
today was
the
awesome.
Hall of Fame. You were down the auditorium, and then you went to the student body, the current student body. Do you recognize some of the faces there? Because you coached a few of those girls.
A lot of those girls, yeah. It's awesome. My cousin is the football manager, too. It's just kind of sweet. One of the girls on homecoming court was a little Anna Cataldo is my cousin. So any Italian at Dowling is my cousin.
Yeah, but it was the Comito that won it.
Yep, yeah, that's true.
That's right. So, yeah, it's just.
Was it? Mrs. Comito was my teacher.
Is that right?
Mom, yeah.
And that was her daughter that beat you out?
Yeah.
Oh. How does
funny.
that? Well, congratulations to them.
Thank
I know that that had to be quite a feat. And some of the memories you had at Dowling. I mean, there's one thing that sticks out. I know.
Besides the state championship.
Maybe in the classroom, maybe something else.
Cheering being a part of the student section football games. It was really neat. My senior year was, I think that might have been the start to the 6-peat. So that was pretty awesome to be part of that.
You were here when that was going on?
Oh, yeah.
That's right, you would have been. Yeah.
I was the start of my senior year.
Oh, that's true.
Heck yeah.
Andrew Bavon and Caroline Comito were the king and queen of the homecoming course. So you got to introduce the student body. What'd you do to them? What'd you say to them?
I didn't say anything.
Just wave?
I just waved. We went by. They cheered at us.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
That's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I went through this about 10 years ago, something like that. So, well, Claudia, thanks for joining us here at halftime. Congratulations to you, and I mean that sincerely. You've been a delight. I remember when you were this high, back in junior high, and your dad said, yeah, Mark, she can throw it. And you know what? He was exactly right, and you worked at it, and you stayed healthy. I know you had a couple of near misses there, but you stayed healthy and stayed with it. And the game of softball that I love, you love, and you're going to continue your career at Dowling, and that's great.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
We're going to take a 1-minute break. Hang on here, Claudia, as we return. Dowling leading Lincoln 40-7 here on Homecoming. Mark Amadale with the latest Hall of Fame inductee, Claudia Farrell, here on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Every month or so, there's another story in the media about when and how often we need to get our mammograms. Kind of confusing. When this happens, I like to consult with experts. So I called Iowa Radiology. They recommend women get an annual mammogram starting at age 40. They know that it's the best way to detect cancers early and save lives. And that's good enough for me. Visit iowaradiology.com or call to schedule your mammogram. Iowa Radiology, our focus is your good health.
Central Bank is proud to support the unmatched spirit of sportsmanship and hard work exemplified by our local athletes. We're fans of high school sports and the way the big game and hometown team rally a community. Best of luck to all of today's competitors. Play hard, have fun, and make something great happen. Central Bank, member FDIC. Central Bank is proud to support the unmatched spirit of sportsmanship and hard work exemplified by our local athletes.
Welcome back to halftime here at Valley Stadium. Dowling leading Lincoln by a score of 4-7 on homecoming and Athletic Hall of Fame induction time. Dowling Stepperettes also being recognized after 60 years of their anniversary. And we're joined by Tommy Gall, famous Dowling athlete. Tommy, I look on here, graduated in 2010. Football, basketball, baseball, and track. I forgot about baseball, and I remember track.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
How did it feel? I mean, bring back some of the memories. You know some of the Hall of Fame candidates because they were kind of close to you, and you might have been here with some of them. Is that right?
Yeah, Jessica and Claudia were both
there you go.
a little younger than me, and then Elliot as well.
Okay.
Playing tennis. And then Coach Dillon growing up, attended a few of his games.
Sure.
So, yeah, definitely some old memories brought up, and great experience today.
I'll tell you what, your mom treated the press right up here. She brought up treats.
Did she?
Your Elaine and your dad Ted. I don't know if Ted made them or not. And your older brother were all here along with your aunt. So you had quite a celebration today, didn't you?
Yeah, it's always fun when you can include family on these celebrations. So my aunts drove down from northeast Iowa and Minnesota.
Okay.
So that was great.
Well, team captain on the football team. That's where I remember you from. But you know what? You had some pretty good skills in that basketball court for a big guy. And I'm getting to this. That kind of helped your football career get pursued, not at college level, but professionally, because you forget about that stint you were overseas. Was that Japan that you played a year?
Yeah, so I
right?
played a season in Japan
Yeah.
after my college career ended, and that was a lot of fun. It was kind of a unique experience, kind of equated to like a travel abroad, study abroad type deal. I didn't do that in college, so played a season over there. It was a great cultural experience, and had some fun playing football.
Visiting with Tommy Gall, latest inductee in the Dowling Athletic Hall of Fame, graduated in 2010, and you played offense and defense. From what this, I don't remember, did Coach use you both ways at times when he needed to?
Yeah. So earlier in my career, I was mostly defense,
Right.
and then I got the opportunity to play some offensive line as well, which obviously that's what I went on to play in college as well. So definitely identify as an offensive lineman, but I love playing defense growing up.
And was it your senior year that won state? Or
No, that was the year after me.
Year after
so
you.
Class of 2011.
That was Brevard's class.
Right,
Okay.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And Eric Lee.
Eric Lee, who's also here. He's not here tonight because his sister's getting married tomorrow, but
Right.
his family's here. But that'd be great. And then you went on to the University of Iowa as a walk-on. And, usually you see all the stories like, well, they're offering a scholarship. They're giving you a scholarship away after a practice or after a game. You walked on, and you were there all 4 years, and you started your last year due to injury. Somebody got hurt, and you filled in, and you had that magical season, Tommy, as the center at the University of Iowa.
Right, yeah. I mean, after high school, I had the opportunity to go to Iowa and walk on, like you said. Was part of that team for 5 years, and that fifth year, an opportunity arose where one of my teammates had a sprained ankle. I hopped in there, and then just kind of worked its way out, at center.
Next man in award, according to Coach
Right.
Ferentz. He gave you that, and the Bud Flood Fighting Hawk Award. That is just awesome. And you were ready, and that's a lot of preparation, a lot of work. I know the off season was, at the college level, it's just grueling, but you hung with it. And what kind of your goal throughout all that? Just you wanted to be the backup, or you just want to be part of that team, or did you think someday you had a chance of making it, and you did eventually?
Well, I mean, coming out of high school, I probably naively thought it'd be pretty easy. And then freshman year, I got there and I got whooped up pretty good, and then got humbled, and then just kind of worked at it in a little bit. And that fifth year, the opportunity arose, and was able to cash in on it, I guess.
I know once you graduated and had that tremendous career at Iowa, especially that magical senior year that you guys had, you overcame a lot with injuries. Coach Wilson said, hey, get on staff here, get on staff at Dowling, and now you are the offensive line coach at the sophomore level. And how rewarding has that been, teaching what you know, but also trying to teach that to students who maybe kind of grew up like you. It's like, well, yeah, I know what I'm doing, or that's the trick in the coaching part. And talk about your experience coming into coaching at Dowling.
Yeah, very grateful for the opportunity to coach back here at Dowling. Great program, and Coach Wilson's definitely had success since I've left, and that's great to see. So it's great to rejoin a program like Dowling, and it's very rewarding to coach, especially at the sophomore level, where you get a fresh group of kids every year.
Sure.
And you get to see them later on Fridays and see what kind of growth they've made throughout their career.
Absolutely. Well, Tommy, what's the best memory you've had at Dowling? You look back at all those years and playing 4 sports: football, basketball, baseball, track. You were involved with a lot of activities,
right.
But you also were a National Honor Society and the Aquinas Key recipient. So you took care of the academics while being very busy athletic-wise. Memory for you?
Greatest memory, I guess it'd probably be like the team meals we had. Our O-line dinners were awesome. Our basketball had team meals, probably once a month. It's probably those meals with your teammates and their families that I probably remember most, and then I guess the relationships that develop off of that.
Well, as you know, we think a lot of you. I love your mom and dad, Ted and Elaine, who are here tonight. And Elaine provided the treats for the media row.
Find some.
She didn't. Well, I think they're gone. That was the first half. And if you see all us up here in media row and the coaches, Lincoln and Dowling coaches, they had a taste of your mom's treats. But you got an older brother who's here, I believe. Is that right?
Billy.
Billy.
He's here.
I thought so.
Yep. He was a swimmer, and then he was very successful. He was a record holder in the 100 breaststroke. So he really set the bar high.
He swam for Coach Crouch?
Yes.
That's why the pool's named after Coach Crouch, because of your brother Billy.
Well, he was on the 4 state championship teams back in 2000.
Yeah, that makes sense. I forgot all about that. Well, Tommy, thanks for joining us here at halftime. I know you're going to go back to the coaching booth because you're part of the varsity staff on Football Friday nights. Congratulations to you and your parents and your hard work, and we're glad to have you on Dowling's team. I can tell you that in the coaching ranks, and I know Coach Wilson thinks very highly of you. Congratulations. Enjoy this week, and we'll talk to you down the road, I'm sure.
Thanks, Mark.
Tom Gall, our guest here on our halftime show, as Dowling leading Lincoln 40-7, and we'll be back after these messages from Valley Stadium on Dowling's homecoming and Athletic Hall of Fame induction here on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network.
You want to get stronger, faster, healthier. You want more. You want to be part of something bigger than yourself. A place for people of all ages, all walks of life, that provides opportunities for all to succeed. We do that. We're the why. Build more than muscle. Build a stronger community.
Hi, Ron here, head coach of West Side Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to West Side Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury. Whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to West Side Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
And welcome back to halftime here at Valley Stadium. Mark Hamadale alongside Matt Mandering, John Chido, as Dowling leads at halftime 40-7. And John Chido, if you're on mic, Matt Mandering has made his way back to the press box, but he's on the food portion of the press box right now. Johnny, you down on the field, and you said it was raining earlier. Well, we're going to catch up with John later. We might have. Oh, we got our principal back.
Hey.
Matt Mainry, thanks for joining us.
We
lost Johnny there for a second. I don't know if his mic's on or if he's come out of the dugout, out of the dugout. That's where I've been.
One of those nights. Is it a full moon?
It might be.
Yeah.
But he said rain was coming down. I saw some of that on the windows. But you had to leave for a little bit. Can you catch us up on some of the the stuff that happened after?
Well, remember we were talking about the baby powder. We saw the baby powder flying up. and it made a little bit of a mess. So, when you make a mess,
yes,
you
gotta
clean
clean
it
it up.
and make sure that it looks better than when we came.
left it, yep.
So the kids work together to make sure that the bleachers are now clean.
See.
As they are.
I see. Okay, so I'm glad that was all taken care of. And in the meantime, had a chance to visit with a couple of our Hall of Fame inductees tonight, Claudia Farrell and Tom Gall, and we appreciate having both of them on. Of course, the other folks that went in the Dowling Hall of Fame tonight, and that included Elliot Baker, the class of 2011, Jessica Campbell, the class of 2013, and Eric Lee, the class of 2011, Lincoln Minks, class of 1999, and Carissa Schweitzer, class of 2014. Also, a coach went in, and that's Matt Dillon, who had a chance to work with all of his years here at Dowling. Tremendous person to work with. He's now the head coach at St. Edmund and Fort Dodge, so he's here for the ceremony this afternoon, but he had to go coach his team tonight, and he's involved with a pretty tough district.
I wonder how Fort Dodge is doing right now.
Yeah, we'll have to get an update there, but we congratulate all of them, along with the Dowling homecoming king and queen. And congratulations to them as they were recognized, I think, before tonight's the ceremony.
Yep.
Andrew Bevan
onside
and
kick to start the second half.
And Caroline Comito.
It.
And Lincoln
recovered.
Does recover. Yeah, it was an onside kick right in front of the Lincoln bench, and they swarmed on it. So the Rails will have it, trailing 40-7 here in the third quarter. But Lincoln will have the football first. And we're efforting John Chido. And Johnny, are you down there?
I am, Mark.
Oh, there you are. There you go. Good. Did you have a chance to hear the interviews at halftime a little bit?
A little bit. Then I got kind of sidetracked because we were kind of talking about the things that went on in the first half. And, with a lot of parents, and there's a lot of kids back from school that played here last year.
Yes,
too,
there is. All right, we appreciate that. Now, Johnny, you said earlier it was raining. Is that correct?
Yeah. So it's the temperature has dropped quite a bit, and it's just kind of drizzling right now, but enough to be uncomfortable.
Okay, well, appreciate that. All right, Lincoln with the first down from the Dowling 38. They have real good field position to start this second half after recovering the onside kick after Dowling was set to receive, and no gain on the play, maybe a yard down to the 37-yard line of Dowling.
Yeah, the defense converged there. You have number 90, Quinn Grant, going in and making a play there for the Maroons, as you see a lot of fresh faces out there on the defensive side of the football right now for the Maroons.
Well, it's second down and 9 for Lincoln as Caden Storm remains a quarterback. 3 receivers left, 1 to the right. In the backfield is Josh Jenkins with him. Here's the snap, lateral pass to Jenkins. And he tries to get outside the numbers and hit and falls forward. And a loose football. And now the referee is going towards it, and they're going to stop the clock. It'll be Dowling football, I believe.
It looks like Dowling recovered.
No signal yet from the umpire.
Yes.
And it is now.
Yeah,
Late signal.
Recovered.
Dowling football as they recover the fumble.
I couldn't see who forced the fumble there.
40-yard line.
Yeah.
All right. Ankeny leading Hoover 49-0 at halftime. Great. Thanks to Pete for that update. At last report, it was Ankeny Centennial and Southeast Polk tied at 10 in the second half. So we got some great football going on, and that's a top 10 matchup over there at Southeast Polk High School. But the Dowling offense, after will take over, 1st and 10 with 11:03 remaining third quarter. Dowling leading 40-7.
Couldn't quite pick up on the replay.
Hemrick back to throw, fires out, caught by Louis Brooks, and a short gain across the 40 up to about the 44-yard line for Louis.
Carter Storm on the stop for the rail splitters there as a quick hitter out to Louis on the left hash as the Maroons look to march down the field.
Yeah, Louis tried to break out of that grasp, and you mentioned a couple of those Lincoln players, about 5 of them that go both ways. Pistol formation, and the handoff goes to Chase Hauschild. Up the gut he goes, but he stopped right at the line of scrimmage, and no gain. So we'll bring up 3rd and 4 Dowling from their own 44-yard line.
Penalty at the end of this play from the sideline judge. They have too many guys on the field.
The referee is
no, that wasn't it. I'm not
getting
sure
with the head linesman here. That's good. That's a good point, man. We'll have to find out.
Yeah.
10:21 remaining, third quarter. Dowling 40, Lincoln 7 on Homecoming and Athletic Hall of Fame. And let's catch the call. First down Dowling, and they have a personal foul against the rails.
Yeah, not sure what the call was there and who made that play, because it was a pretty good stop for the rail splitters there on defense as they tried to get back up in there. Chase Hauschild was stopped at the line of scrimmage as they converged on him there, and then there's a personal foul on the backside of that play.
So first down Dowling. The line of scrimmage is the Lincoln 41-yard line. Pistol formation with Hank Hemrick at quarterback.
I think it might be Jake Steingraber.
Yep, they did.
Yeah.
It's Jake Steingraber in at quarterback. Read option. The give is to the tailback, and hit and dropped inside the 40. Down to about the 38-yard line is Hauschild.
Yeah, Hauschild, nice quick run there. He showed that burst that he has into that line of scrimmage and really exploded through there. He got about a 4-yard gain, 3-yard gain, and the offense is now moving.
So it brings up second down 7 for the Maroons. And Dowling now with Jake Steingraber, the 5'10", 165-pound junior in at quarterback. And now we've got, I think, a timeout called by Lincoln.
Yeah, I don't think they were lined up correctly. You saw 2 receivers split left here and wide open.
Yeah, so we'll take a 1-minute break. 9:39 remaining here in the third quarter. Dowling 40, Lincoln 7. Back in 1 minute here on Iowa Catholic Radio on the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Save thousands in Waukee. Schottenkirk Chevy, Waukee. 2019 Silverado 1500 Double Cab up to 25% off. 2019 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab, LT or RST up to 20% off MSRP. Or up to $5,000 off plus 0% for 72 months. We're in a position to give you more for your trade in Waukee. 2019 Colorado up to $7,000 off. Or $5,000 off plus 1.9% for 60 months. Or 2.9% for 72 months. These won't last. Schottenkirk Chevy, Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
Is this guy a contractor who does good work or a contractor who needs work? For a reliable recommendation, trust the Better Business Bureau, protecting consumers for over a century. When you go to bbb.org to check out a business, you'll learn if it's BBB accredited, see its grade on customer service, and read honest, useful reviews from local people. For online recommendations you can trust, start with trust at bbb.org/Iowa.
And we're back here at Valley Stadium as we're underway after the Lincoln timeout. Dowling with the second down and 7, and they move the ball down out of the timeout to a first down, Matt, inside the 30-yard line of the Maroons.
Yeah, nice run by Chase Hauschild. And what Coach Wilson has right now is he's got the starting offensive line with his second line of offensive skill players. And you like to do that on offense because it gets those kids a true look at what's going on.
First down Maroons at the Lincoln 29. Pistol formation with Steingraber in at quarterback. He's got Hauschild in the backfield. And I believe it's Swagger at fullback here. 2 receivers left and the tight end on the right side. Long count by Jake Steingraber. Read option, and Steingraber gives it to Hauschild, and he's hit and dropped in the backfield. Great job by the Lincoln defense. They knifed right in there, and that's their big linebacker, Cooper King, who we talked about in the pregame show, around the ball and makes the stop for a loss.
He gets to the football in a hurry and can make plays for the rail splitters. And, again, he leads the team in tackles coming into the game, and he's also going into the game at 4.5 tackles for loss. So he's able to make plays behind the line of scrimmage, and right there he made one of them.
So Hauschild on the loss back to the 33-yard line. Loses 4, and it'll bring up 2nd and 14. Dowling, 8.5 minutes remaining. And Steingraber back to throw, fires it out, and it's caught by Louis Brooks. Tries to spin out of a tackle, and he fights forward down shy of the first down to the rail splitter 22-yard line. So he'll pick up about 12 yards, and it'll bring up 3rd down and short.
Quick hitter out to Louis on the right side of the football field, out by the number, and he catches it and gets hit right away. And then what they call those yards after contact went out and got about 5-6 more to create a 3rd and short for the Maroons. About, what did you say, 11-yard pickup?
11 yards, yep. So it's 3rd and 3 for Dowling as Jake Steingraber in at quarterback. Junior. Read option, the give on the jet sweep to Louis Brooks. Spins out of a tackle, now reverses field. And down the far sideline at the 20-15-10. Uses speed inside the 5. Fighting for the end zone down at the 1-yard line. And I don't think you draw those plays up, Matt. That was all athleticism by Louis Brooks.
It's one of those things where the ball started on the 22, and he got to the 1 yard line, so it's a 21-yard gain, and he ran about 38. And Louis made things happen there for the Maroons. And there you get a surge from the offensive line that scores a touchdown. Quarterback keep.
Touchdown Steingraber.
Yeah,
so that's
Steingraber
his first.
gets in.
Jake, the junior quarterback, 5'10", 165 pounds, caps off a Dowling drive that started back on their own 38-yard line, and the Maroons now extend their lead to 46-7, pending the extra point. But I want to go back to Louis Brooks' run. It was a jet sweep, running from right to left. Well, he went left, maybe outside the tackle, then he reversed yardage, and then it was just a zigzag all the way down to the 1 yard line. That's about the best you can describe it with Louis.
Yeah, a lot of fun to watch. He's really starting to come into his own as a player this year.
All right, the Maroons now with the extra point. Jonathan Gonzalez, who handles kickoffs. He's getting an opportunity here to get the extra point. The Tomei & Sons extra point is up and good as the Maroons are inside the Bows in the Flores red zone. And we want to thank Tomei & Sons for their support, 1501 Southeast 1st Street, Des Moines. Back after these messages, Dowling 47-7 over Des Moines Lincoln here on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise and your lights will go on. That's because at MidAmerican Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
And we're back here at Valley Stadium, homecoming for the Maroons as rain begins to fall. We'll go down to John Chido after this, the kickoff being run back by Lincoln to about the 19-yard line. John Chido on our Shield sideline report. Dowling offense got cooking there as they went 7 plays, 60 yards, and Hank Hemrick handed it off to Jake Steingraber, who led the charge and scored his first varsity touchdown there, Johnny.
Yeah, it's nice to see Jake get in there with the first unit offensive line, get some varsity reps. These are his first varsity reps too, Mark. And
that's right. Yeah.
He made some nice pitch and catches to Louis Brooks there, and was able to get his first touchdown, like you mentioned.
Yeah,
and,
we forget a year ago he was coaching, or he was playing for the sophomore team, starting for the sophomore team, John.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. This we're game 5, and this is his first varsity action.
All right, Caden Storm now back at quarterback for Lincoln, and he fires left side on a pass. It's incomplete. There's a rail start from their own 19-yard line on this drive, so it'll bring up 2nd and 10 Lincoln. 6:18 remaining, third quarter, running clock. Dowling leading 47-7. As long as Dowling's got a 35-point lead, the clock will continue to run off of incomplete passes.
Yep.
It just takes timeouts or a touchdown or a score to stop the clock, Matt.
Jackson Langen on the stop there for the Maroons, out there playing cornerback on the right side of the football field right now. Comes up and make a good play there for a zero gain.
So we'll bring up 2nd and 10 rails. And now they run the read option. Now a pass on the near side, caught by Carter Storm. So Storm to Storm, and Carter tries to cut up field, and he's hit and dropped at about the 22-yard line for a gain of 3, and it'll bring up 3rd and about 7.
Yeah, you get a lot of Maroons coming to the ball right there. Blake Till out there playing the left cornerback for the Maroons. A little swing pass out there, and he was able to avoid the first tackle, and then Blake Till came up and made a stop for the Maroons.
I want to thank Ashworth Vision Clinic along with Construction Professionals and Dental Associates. I want to thank our Bows in the Flores Red Zone. They're sponsoring all the Red Zone for the Maroon offense this year. Say more with Bozen. 515-244-ROSE. It's 244-7673. Our thanks to the Tomei & Sons for sponsoring our extra points. Back to throw is Storm. Caden being driven out of the pocket, rolls to his right, now stops, reverses field to his left. Now still looking downfield. If he throws, he's got to throw across his body, and he's being pursued, and he's hit, and dropped right about the 25-yard line. So he did a lot of east-west running and couldn't find anybody open, and credit the Dowling defense for coverage sack maybe.
Blake Till ran the width of the football field right there, chasing him down. Yeah, and I couldn't tell who came up from the secondary there to help trap Storm. He's a quick quarterback and got out there in the open, moving sideline to sideline, and Blake Till would stop.
Well, he covered a lot of territory, but he actually gained 2 yards.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There.
4th and 4 Lincoln, and their punting unit will be in, and that is Zach Williams. He'll stand back at his own 12-yard line. Gets the snap. Short, spirally kick. It'll be fair caught by Stillwell or
it looks like
Brooks.
Louis Brooks.
Yeah, Louis Brooks at the 48-yard line of Dowling. So the Maroons will have it 1st and 10 from their own 48 on Hall of Fame and homecoming for Dowling Catholic. A little event going on after the game over here at the Wellman's rooftop. So folks want to do the tailgate post-game party. We can join us. Matt, I know you're going to stop by a little bit. I got volleyball at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning at Dowling, so I'm not going to be there very long. But
I've had a long day already.
Yeah, I know you have. Yeah. Let's go down to the Dowling sideline. Who's another guy who had quite a long day. I can vouch for John Chido on our Shield sideline report. John?
Well, there's great athleticism by Caden Storm on that, the reverse field, and he was dead to right there toward the sideline, made a nice cut to make something out of nothing, and it was a good athletic play for Lincoln. He's been a 3-year starter for Lincoln, just want to mention that. And
yes, he has.
He's done a fine job.
He was injured last year, John, if you remember. He did not play against Dowling. His brother, Carter, did, but Caden was out, and they had another young man, played quarterback Larry Brown, who is not with the Lincoln program right now, so he's very athletic. And Caden, he didn't get a chance.
I think I've got the offensive line down here. We have Michael Woon in at one position, Jason Britton, Jake Olson, Austin Van Scheppen, and Sam Gavin in at the offensive line positions right now for the Maroons.
All right, pistol formation. Steingraber looks to his right, throws right. The pass is caught near a first down, being pushed out of bounds by the rail defense. And a nice catch that time on the far sideline.
Nice catch.
I believe that was number 82 for the Maroons, and it was Mac Anderson with the catch.
Yeah.
And to bring up 3rd and 1, he's just shy of the 42-yard line. Now spotted out of bounds to the Lincoln 43.
That was an impressive pass there by Jake. He got that ball out there in a hurry, and a nice catch out there by Mac Anderson, and makes it a 3rd and short.
8-yard reception. As you mentioned, 3rd and short with 2 minutes and 5 seconds on the game clock as we continue to run. As Steingraber with a long count. And now a handoff, 1st down carry for Dowling, and that is Chase Hauschild. And somebody's got him by his ankles, and he finally goes down at the rail, 35-yard line.
You can see Chase's confidence growing. That time he took the ball and he hit the line of scrimmage going 100 and really exploded through there, made a nice play and got tied up. I thought he was going to break it there for a second. He hit a shot. And
that shoestring tackle by the Lincoln linebacker that grabbed him. So it's 1st and 10 Rails, or rather 1st and 10 Dowling as they approach the Rails red zone. Maroons with a 1st down at the 35 of Lincoln, leading 47-7. Steingraber back to throw. The pass is deflected and incomplete, knocked down and taken away by Marcus Cross for Lincoln. Pass was ruled incomplete, but Marcus had a hand on it and he wanted more, and he almost came up with the interception.
He did. I want to mention, Dannon Bidding is out there now at tight end as well for the Maroons, so that kind of completes the front of the Maroon offense.
Lincoln's showing, a 5-man front. They're all standing up, and now a handoff goes to Hauschild, and he just zigs and zags right up the gut. He goes inside the 25, still on his feet, and finally down at the 20-yard line. Hey, he's been going to the Tegan Johnson and Gavin Williams School of Running. Wow.
Says, I've been watching, and Chase has got a lot of skills, and we're really starting to see him right there. He can go side to side. It's one of those things that Gavin can do very well. Chase, Tegan's more of a vertical runner. Chase shows a little bit of that side-to-side movement right there. Had a great run.
All right, 1st and 10, Dowling at the Lincoln 22. The final 20 seconds of the 3rd quarter. Dowling leading 47-7. And Steingraber read option, handoff to Hauschild, and he hits and spins out of a tackle, but down to the 20-yard line for a gain of 2. And what might be the final play of the 3rd quarter. We want to give a shout out to Bev Whipple, who was kind of shaken up last week before the game, but I know
she made an appearance today.
And I was going to ask you, she did. Well,
she
Bev,
did.
We wish you well in your recovery. Obviously, she's recovered after her little spill last week.
Yep.
And I don't understand why Tom Wilson gets 10 Hail Marys and I just get one. I'm still trying to figure that out.
We asked her what the other guy looked like. 'Cause she was she's a great lady and really did a good job. And we should mention that Michelle helped us out today too.
Yes, she did.
In getting things done there at Dowling.
55-0 Ankeny over Hoover in the fourth quarter. We'll take a break. It's Dowling 47, Lincoln 7. Back in 1 minute for the fourth quarter here on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Moms typically get to make a majority of the healthcare decisions for their family. That can be a lot of pressure, but not for me, because I know the choice is ours. For medical tests like MRIs, X-rays, CAT scans, and of course mammograms, ask your doctor to refer you to Iowa Radiology. They work around our hectic schedules, they're the best at what they do, and they're so great with my family. They truly care, and it shows. Visit iowaradiology.com or call to schedule an appointment. Iowa Radiology.
Save thousands in Waukee. Schottenkirk Chevy, Waukee. 2019 Silverado 1500 Double Cab up to 25% off. 2019 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab, LT or RST up to 20% off MSRP. Or up to $5,000 off plus 0% for 72 months. We're in a position to give you more for your trade in Waukee. 2019 Colorado up to $7,000 off. Or $5,000 off plus 1.9% for 60 months. Or 2.9% for 72 months. These
And welcome back to Valley Stadium, homecoming for Dowling Catholic. Here in the fourth quarter, Dowling 47-7 over Lincoln. We have the continuous clock. Mark Amadeo, Matt Maindring, John Chido. Chase Household carries 8 yards down to the Lincoln 12-yard line, and it'll bring up 1st and 10 Dowling at the 12 of Lincoln. And Steingraber at quarterback. Jake Steingraber runs at quarterback. Well, they call it stretch, but it's the quarterback, it's the student body right.
Student body right, that's what I would call that.
Dangled in front of the near sideline on the short side and ran out of bounds.
He got a great block from Chase Hoshold out there. One of the things that Coach Wilson and Coach Meeks, the running back coach, those running backs got to be great blockers on those plays, and Chase just did it right there to help Jake to get around the corner.
47-7 Dowling. The Maroons with a 2nd and 5 from the Lincoln 7. Steingraber, the junior quarterback, they give it to Household. Stops, goes, and he goes in for the touchdown. He stopped right about the 5-yard line to avoid the linebacker for Lincoln, and then he went around him. Touchdown Dowling from 7 yards out. Chase Household.
Great run by Chase, and he's really shows his athleticism as he was darting through there. He was so patient as that play started as well. I think that's what sprung it for him. He was patient, let his blockers do the work, and then he exploded through for the touchdown.
So now the extra point by the Maroons as they will attempt. The extra point is up, and it is good on Stillwell's hold. Jonathan Gonzalez boots it through. 10:31 remaining here in the fourth quarter as the Tomei & Sons extra point counts. 54-7 Dowling. Back after these messages here on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network.
You want to get stronger, faster, healthier. You want more. You want to be part of something bigger than yourself. A place for people of all ages, all walks of life, that provides opportunities for all to succeed. We do that. We're the why. Build more than muscle. Build a stronger community.
Hi, Ron here, head coach of West Side Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to West Side Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury. Whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to West Side Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
And welcome back to Valley Stadium, West Des Moines, here at homecoming for Dowling Catholic as they lead Lincoln 54-7. Dowling going 9 plays, 52 yards on that last drive as Drew John set to kick off. And we're seeing a lot of different players here tonight, Matt Maindring, and different roles. The the kicking unit, the linebackers, the offensive line, and that's what you want to do, get a lot of kids playing time.
And Drew's a senior that's a leader in the hallways, and get to visit with him a lot, and he's a great kid, and it's good to see him get out there.
All right, short kick, squib kick, picked up by one of the upbacks for Lincoln, and he returns it across the 25. That's Tofanelli on the return. Jake Tofanelli, the 5'10 senior. If you joined us late, earlier in the game, Dowling came up with a big sack of their Lincoln quarterback, and as the Lincoln or Southeast Polk and Centennial now tied at 17 with what was that, Pete? 9 minutes, 35 seconds left in the fourth quarter. So what a matchup that was. But after a Dowling sack, Lincoln quarterback was sacked on a big loss. A couple of Lincoln coaches came out, and one of them was ejected, and that was unfortunate. You don't want to see that in high school football, but Jason Storm was ejected, and Derek Summey, the head coach, went with him. So Lincoln without their head coach and one of their assistants since that moment about midway through the first quarter. Well, back to action here. 1st and 10 Lincoln from their own 27-yard line. And they give the ball to Josh Jenkins, and he goes around right in. And I know if Derek's listening, and he's a young man who I coached in high school at Lincoln way back in the day, a tremendous tennis player. His dad, a longtime coach at Indianola. They'll regroup, and they'll get on track. And it was just one of those emotional parts of the game.
Yeah.
Matt, you've been through it for many years that you were the head coach, and it's just sometimes you just got to get your emotions in check.
Yeah, I coach my own son as well, and you have those moments where you forget where you are, and you forget your role. Coach, dad,
yeah.
and it is unfortunate, and it's good. The kid's healthy and out there playing, and it's a good thing.
All
right there, pass broken up. Carson Boyle.
How about that? Ryan's little brother. If you remember Ryan Boyle back in the day.
Yeah, great play.
James Anderson, the intended receiver. Nice ball that time. That was thrown by quarterback Caden Storm of Lincoln, but Carson might have a little bit too much air under it. He almost picked it off, but it's incomplete, and they'll bring up 3rd and 9 for Lincoln on their own 28-yard line with 8.5 minutes left.
The defensive front here now for the Maroons, as we start to look at this, we have Mata Brua in the game, and Mata's a good young man as well. And,
sophomore.
Sophomore,
right, yeah.
and has a lot of talent. He's going to be a player to watch.
All right, quarterback now is Anderson. No, check that. It's Caden Storm in there. The intended receiver out of the backfield was Josh Jenkins. I thought they might be rotating their quarterbacks in there for Lincoln, and they have not. So that pass is incomplete. Clock continues to run on the mercy rule. 54-7. Dowling, just under 8 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter. Mark Amadeo, Matt Maindring. From the press box here, we'll go down to the Dowling sideline. That's where John Chido's at. He'll have a few interviews tonight.
Yeah.
The raindrops won't hold him back too much, I don't think. What do you think, Johnny? All right, Lincoln forced a punt, and that'll
got Grant Morgan and C.J. Spellman in there also now for the Maroons.
And that'll bring in Carter Storm in the punt, punts it away, and it bounces at the Lincoln 45 and down at the rail 46. That's where the Dowling offense will be 1st and 10. So Carter Storm getting the punt. And 7:18 remaining. Game clock continues to run. Dowling with a 54-7 lead. Let's go down to the Dowling sideline, and John Chido, come on in.
Well, it's impressive of how Chase Hosselt ran on that series when Dowling scored the last touchdown. And then Coach mentioned he made a nice block there, too, toward the Dowling sideline. I just was very impressed with his running, and he's shifty, Mark, and he runs hard. So I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, a lot of different Maroons in there right now, Johnny. Tailback in there, number 28, Ben Faber, getting his first look tonight. So we'll try to keep you abreast. And I know receivers, skill positions, and offense and defensive linemen. As the Maroons now with quarterback Dominic Marasco in at quarterback, and he gives it to the tailback, and that's Chase Hauschelt.
Well, I think it was, I'm not sure who that is. I don't have that number on my roster. It was 26 or 28. I don't know. I don't think that's Ben Faber. Ben Faber's the fullback. Yeah, there's Ben. I don't have 26 on the roster. Ben Faber, a good wrestler, and one of those guys that works hard on that next sport that's coming around the pipe.
Yes,
too.
it is. As picks up 5 yards down to the rail 41-yard line, and now quarterback Marasco will keep the football around right in. It has some room inside the 20, and he's finally brought down inside at the 18-yard line. Nice run by Dominic Marasco that time.
Dominic had a nice run out there. Reese Martinhold on stop for the rail splitters. and makes a good play to make the stop. Nice run there by Dominic. Got in the open field and made a play.
All right, so it is 1st and 10, Dowling from the 18 of Lincoln. Dominic Marasco in at quarterback, the left-hander. Adam Townsend is number 26, and handoff goes
to Townsend right there.
And
he got stopped up right at the line of scrimmage there, and
at the point of attack, no gain, maybe a loss. They're going to spot it.
Yeah, about a little. I'm not sure where they're spotting that football.
At the 20.
There they go.
So a loss of 2 on the play for.
We had a couple that couldn't tell who made the stops there. Number 41 for the Rail Splitters. He's not on our roster either as we get to that point in the game.
All right, 2nd and 12. Marasco now will keep the football. Runs around left end.
An
inside. He's got the room and is angling for the far corner of the end zone. Touchdown. Dominic Marasco from 20 yards out. I'll tell you what, he got the first down, ran into some traffic, brushed that off, and angled for the pylon touchdown. And 20 yards carry for Dominic Marasco.
It's a great thing for Dominic. Dominic had a bad knee injury when he was a sophomore at running quarterback, and he's finally getting to the point where he's recovered. It's a great thing for that young man to have that success out there in the football field.
Certainly is, and he scores from 20 yards out. 60-7 our score. The extra point by Dowling is up, and it is good. And it's just a matter of which, that is John Cole in there for the extra point. So everybody's getting in the program tonight. So that stops the clock. 4:39 remaining. Here in the 4th quarter, Dowling 61-7 over Lincoln, here on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Every month or so, there's another story in the media about when and how often we need to get our mammograms. Kind of confusing. When this happens, I like to consult with experts. So I called Iowa Radiology. They recommend women get an annual mammogram starting at age 40. They know that it's the best way to detect cancers early and save lives. And that's good enough for me. Visit iowaradiology.com or call to schedule your mammogram. Iowa Radiology, our focus is your good health.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
And welcome back to Valley Stadium. Here is the kickoff by Dowling, and now the Lincoln runs the reverse. The inside handoff goes to the Richard Hernandez Duncan, who's been returning it, and didn't fool the Dowling coverage as they're down at probably about the 22-yard line. It's a little razzle-dazzle there by the rails.
Jackson Langen makes a great play out there. Held his spot on the reverse, kept contained, and made a play. And from one of your guys that's not out there starting all the time, that is a good play by Jackson.
Final score, Centennial defeats Southeast Polk 20-17 over at Southeast Polk High School tonight. Congratulations to Ankeny Centennial. And I knew once they get healthy, they'd get better. And that was a big step for them tonight in winning their game in district play. Here it's 61-7 Dowling, 3:45 remaining. We'll go down to John Chido after this play as Lincoln now keeps the ball on the ground. The handoff goes to their tailback, Jenkins, and he gets a couple yards. Let's go down to the Dowling sideline. That's where John Chido is at on our Shield sideline report. Johnny, come on in.
Well, it was nice to see Dominic Marasco get some reps at quarterback and had some nice runs there and was able to get in for the Dowling touchdown. And like Coach mentioned, it's good to see him back in action after his ACL injury and getting some nice reps at quarterback.
Yeah, that's nothing easy to come back from, rehabbing that and trying to get back in the mix. And he scores. And
if I remember right, it was on one of the very last plays of his sophomore year.
Yeah.
I think it was in the last game, towards the end of the game, and it's an unfortunate thing.
Yeah, it is. And he's battled back, and it's a play his senior year, and now we got penalty flags down, a stoppage in play with 2:52 remaining here in the 4th quarter. Dowling 61-7. And reminder, next week we'll be packing it up and going on the road 2 of the next 3 weeks to Sioux City. Matt, you're going to be going up to Sioux City, but a little bit further north. You got some personal business to do, and so John Chido and I will make that trek up there. And I did not like what your phone said earlier about extended forecasts. We'll keep it here. 61-7, Dowling leading Lincoln, a timeout on the field.
And it probably changed 2-3 times, but there were snowflakes on the thing.
John, did you hear that? There's a reason why we're going to take your truck.
Snow this early in October is not a good sign.
That's what he says. That's what his phone says. It's like, it could be interesting. But we'll have the call, and we'll have a special person sitting in with us, by the way.
Oh.
Johnny and I will be going to Sioux City to do the game. We're going to have somebody else in, and we're not going to let them know who that is, John, are we?
He has to pass the classes first. He's going to come down this week and take some classes, make sure he's qualified.
He also has to be in town. He can't be out in Washington, D.C. like he was earlier this week, Johnny. He's got to make our flight.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, John, I know you look forward to we'll get back to live action here. That was a quick timeout called by the Rails, and back to throw is Lincoln. They look downfield, and that is Xander Kehoe at the quarterback, and he throws an interception with the pickoff is Will Herman for Dowling, and Herman returns it all the way to the Dowling 25-yard line. Final score is 63-0 in the win for Ankeny over Hoover. So both Ankeny teams win tonight. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, Will Herman makes a nice play, a deep ball over the middle, and he stepped up and got into coverage there and makes a nice pick and gets some return yardage on it as well.
All right, John, a lot of young men got to play tonight. You know, that's great, especially when you don't have a whole lot of JV games going on and your sophomores and freshmen are into their season. So this is a lot of playing time tonight for a lot of these youngsters.
Yeah, that's a big bonus because you're getting a lot of these young guys varsity experience in real-time game speed. It's a lot different than practice than game time speed, and that's great for these young kids. And we're seeing a lot of sophomores come in too, and that's even better. There's a few sophomores that had the luxury to dress tonight, and they're also getting in the ball game.
Yeah, it certainly is, and that's been a scramble for us up here. It's okay if they're on the roster, but some of those that haven't been on the roster, we'll add them to it as we move forward. So now Dowling with the first down at the Lincoln 27, final 2.5 minutes of the fourth quarter. The Maroons leading 61-7, and now the read option, and quarterback Jake Steingraber back in for the Maroons, and he hands it off, and running back is hit and dropped. And I think that was Townsend once again, as he had the carry, and they're just interchanging
a lot of bodies. I don't think we're going to be able to keep up with this. But the nice run is straightforward for Townsend, and got up in there and made a nice short gain. And we're starting to see. Oh, we got a guy running on late. Let's see.
Yeah, and then that's Townsend who went back in, so they need a tailback, and he's there. A long count by Steingraber. Dowling quarterback hands it off to Townsend. Looks to run to the right and loses the football, and I think Lincoln's got it.
Yeah, that ball popped out. He close to a horse collar, but he got drugged down from behind a little bit, and the ball popped out and into the hands of the rail splitters.
Certainly is, and that's I think it was Sam Filippelli who picked it up and or actually fell on it, and Lincoln will have it at the 27-yard line. Game clock continues to run with 1:30 remaining, and gentlemen, we're going to have a post-game show. I know, Johnny, you're going to catch up with head coach Tom Wilson, but maybe a player or two. So kind of get your thoughts on who we might visit with at halftime, linemen, offense or defense, skill positions. What do you think, Johnny?
I've been thinking about it all game, and there's so many options. I mean, there was just so many different series and plays and nice plays along the way, but it seems so long ago.
Anybody you want to pass a word along to, Mr. Maindring?
I was thinking, Joe Ryan and Ryan Bowles, on the homecoming court, that offensive line, those guys, we might be able to get those two.
We had Joe on last week.
Oh, yeah, we had Joe
so
on.
We got Ryan Bowles then.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So, all right.
And, Austin Schultz had a good game out there again, but I think we've talked to him already as well.
Yes, we have. All right, we'll just keep that thought process. Final 35 seconds. Lincoln now with a first down at their own 27. 61-7 is our score. And Lincoln now with the football, and the give is to Aiden Lovan, and he carries it across the 27 up to near the 29-yard line. That'll be the final play of the ball game as both teams are heading to their sidelines as Dowling's going to win it 61-7 as the Maroons now will improve their record to 5-1 overall, 2-0 in District 1 play. And Lincoln will fall to 2-4 overall and 1-1 in district play. So it's Dowling and Sioux City East next Friday night. Both teams are 2-0 in district play, and we'll have the call next Friday from Olson Stadium on the campus of Morningside College in Sioux City. Two undefeated teams going at it.
Yeah, beautiful facility up there at Morningside, and home of, I believe, the national champs.
Yes, they are, the defending champs.
And a great program up there, and a good place to go play football.
All right, and final score once again, Dowling 61, Lincoln 7. And we want to thank everybody involved with the broadcast. We'll move to our post-game show as I know Coach Seifert is efforting and updating his statistics. So we'll give you those before we take a break. And we want to thank him for doing that, Coach Jared Seifert, one of the math teachers here at Dowling. Third base coach during the summer. That right arm was going pretty well, getting those kids in from home, from third to home. And Dowling now tonight, 386 yards of total offense. Lincoln with 98 yards of total offense. Dowling 164 yards in the air, Lincoln with 22. Rushing yards, Lincoln with 76. Dowling with 222 yards on the ground. Penalties, Dowling not penalized at all tonight. Lincoln with 7 penalties and 69 yards. So there's a word of note there. The Maroons had, I think, double-figure penalties the last couple of games.
One of the things that we talked about pregame that they would be focused on.
And 22 first downs for the Maroons, just 4 for Lincoln. Hank Hemrick, 8 out of 11 passing, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns tonight. Jake Steingraber, 3 out of 4 passing for 24 yards. For Lincoln, Caden Storm was 9 out of 16 passing, 22 yards, and an interception. And Xander Kehoe, 0 for 1 passing tonight with an interception. And the leading rusher tonight for Dowling was Chase Hauschild, 15 carries, 61 yards, and a touchdown. Gavin Williams, 5 carries, 56 yards, and a touchdown. Louis Brooks, 2 carries for 23 yards. And Tegan Johnson, 4 carries for 22 yards tonight for the Maroons. And another Dowling player, Dominic Marasco, on the night, 2 carries, 43 yards, and a touchdown. For Lincoln, Caden Storm, leading ball carrier for the Rails, 8 carries, 47 yards, and scored the lone touchdown. Josh Jenkins, 8 carries, 24 yards, and Aiden Lovan, 2 carries for 3 yards. For Lincoln receiving, Caden Storm, Carter Storm, 8 receptions, 23 yards, and Josh Jenkins, 1 catch for -1 yard. Dowling's leading receiver tonight was Josh Jackman, that 1 catch, 60 yards and a touchdown. Louis Brooks, 3 catches for 38 yards, and Matt Stillwell for the Maroons, 3 catches, 31 yards, and a touchdown. Tegan Johnson, 2 catches for 24 yards, and Mac Anderson with a catch for 8 yards. So again, Dowling with the win, 61-7, and the Maroons with 386 yards of total offense. Lincoln with 98 yards of total offense tonight. And we will go to the post-game show. Maroons win it, 61-7 on Dowling's homecoming and Athletic Hall of Fame. We'll take a 1-minute break and return to Valley Stadium with our post-game interviews here on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Save thousands in Waukee. Schottenkirk Chevy, Waukee. 2019 Silverado 1500 Double Cab up to 25% off. 2019 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab, LT or RST up to 20% off MSRP. Or up to $5,000 off plus 0% for 72 months. We're in a position to give you more for your trade in Waukee. 2019 Colorado up to $7,000 off. Or $5,000 off plus 1.9% for 60 months. Or 2.9% for 72 months. These won't last. Schottenkirk Chevy, Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
Is this guy a contractor who does good work or a contractor who needs work? For a reliable recommendation, trust the Better Business Bureau, protecting consumers for over a century. When you go to bbb.org to check out a business, you'll learn if it's BBB accredited, see its grade on customer service, and read honest, useful reviews from local people. For online recommendations you can trust, start with trust at bbb.org/Iowa.
And we're back here at Valley Stadium. Mark Amadale, Matt Maindring, and John Chido. Dowling wins it 61-7 over Des Moines Lincoln, and a very one-sided game it became. But hey, we're going to go right down to the field. John Chido has our first interview, Matt.
There we go.
We go, and hopefully we got the cameras ready on the webcast side. We'll give them a minute. And
looks like Jackson Filer.
Is that who it? Well, we talked about him. And John Chido, take it away with your interview. And it does look like Jackson Filer. Take it away, Johnny.
Jackson, you guys have been off to a great start in district play. Now you're moved to 2-0. You being a Southsider, this was a special game for you, I'm sure. You played with a lot of these kids that you played against tonight, and you guys got off to a great start offensively and defensively, and had it rolling early in the game, and finished strong, obviously, with the score ending up 61-7. But talk about a little bit tonight's game.
It's all about preparation for us. We take this game 1 week at a time, and practice this week was, one day at a time, and every rep counts. So that's what kind of showed out today.
Well, Mark, I'm going to give it to you and Coach to ask a couple questions.
Oh, we certainly will. Hey, Jackson, nice job down there. And I tell you what, I see you chasing a lot of quarterbacks around. Do you ever get tired?
We condition a lot at practice, so not really.
Well, the goal is to catch them so you don't have to take them, chase them so far. But, Jackson, you've I know you got your shot this year to start. And talk about the preparation going into this season. And, those first 4 games weren't easy. You got baptism by fire in your first starts.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work out there. Practices are where stars are made and leaders are made. So we do take every rep at a time and just do our thing out there.
Jackson, this is Mr. Bainering, and we had a nice talk today talking about tonight. And you executed on the field. What's your focus going into every game?
It's always take it each snap at a time. Just do the little things. That's what we were working on at practice all week, and it's just holding the standard.
So are you on one side of the line of scrimmage, on one side of the defense? Do you have to switch sides, or where do we put you?
We play strong weak sides, so it's like, I switch around every once in a while.
Yeah.
Well, Jackson, congratulations on the win. Does beating Lincoln kind of a little bit more incentive since you have those South Side ties? I remember those days back in maybe 30 years ago. Anything special about playing Lincoln?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
I thought so. We all know what that is if you're on the South Side. Jackson, congratulations. Best of luck. Stay healthy this year.
Thank you.
Congrats, Jackson.
Jackson Filer, a defensive end for the Maroons, visiting with John Chido. Dowling a 61-7 winner over Des Moines Lincoln tonight. Homecoming and Athletic Hall of Fame at Valley Stadium for the Maroons. And let's go back down the field, and oh my gosh, he's got the big guy. John Chido, you're going to have to talk about this. Introduce this gentleman.
We have Ryan Bowles. I need to step on a step ladder to get up to hold the microphone. But Ryan, great job. You guys are off 2-0 district play. You guys done a nice job tonight moving the ball, starting early with the run game and the pass game. You guys got it rolling. But your thoughts on tonight's game?
Our goal coming into tonight was consistent improvement, and that's what we were aiming for. We looked for minute details and how we were playing, whether it's steps or hand placement, whatever it may be. And another good thing about tonight was that we got a lot of the young guys in, got them some experience, so that was really great to see.
Go ahead, Mark.
Hey, Ryan, congratulations on the win. You've been, as Coach Wilson said, you're pretty diversive. You're either a guard or you're a tackle, and you were kind of substituting there for a while for Tyler Stein, who had an illness for a while. But what do you like, tackle or guard, Ryan?
It's really just kind of what the coach tells me what to do is my preferred position. And guard is a little bit more simple. It's just kind of you'll either have a double team or you're just one-on-one. Tackle requires a little bit more athleticism, but Coach Pollock would tell you that I'm not much of a natural athlete, so he prefers me at guard.
Hey, Ryan, this is Mr. Bainering, and one of the things that had to be tonight, focus going into tonight, was no penalties. Did you talk about that at all leading into the week here?
Absolutely. So just like I had said earlier, consistent improvement was the goal, and that's one thing we've struggled with is killing our momentum on drives with penalties, and that was where a lot of the emphasis came on the details, like hand placement, steps, whatever it may be, because once you clean up the little things, then big things such as penalties don't appear. Another thing we had to look out for is obviously Lincoln's a team with a lot of tradition, and this rivalry has a ton of tradition, so they were coming with full intent to give us their best shot, and long story short, that could end up with some flared tempers on the field. So another thing that we focused on was playing smart, was what the coach told us to do.
Yeah, holding those emotions in check. Okay, Ryan, I want you to answer this next question in Arabic. You can do that for me, can't you?
It depends on what the question is.
Putting him on his spot.
Ryan is one of those kids. He can speak some Arabic, and he's how many? Is Arabic the only language you speak?
I can order some of my food at a Spanish restaurant in Spanish,
okay.
but you know,
it's kind of an uncommon thing, and so he's done an outstanding job. He's a great student athlete for us at Dowling, and it's been a pleasure to have him with us.
Ryan, thanks for joining us here on the Postgame Show. Stay healthy this year. You got a lot more games coming, and keep up the improvement. No penalties tonight. You guys got to hang that on the wall in Week 6. So hopefully that'll continue.
Thank you very much. My mom says I have a face for radio, so I was really glad to be here tonight.
You did very well.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Ryan Bowles, Dowling starting right guard tonight, but he's been playing right tackle for Tyler Stein, who was injured. And again, great interviews with defensive end.
Yeah.
And offensive linemen.
Yeah, offensive linemen. You know, one of the things for those offensive linemen, people don't think that's an intelligent position. You know, but those guys with the calls and everything that they have now, and be able to switch from position to position like they can, it takes very, very smart men to play that position on the football field.
All right, let's go back down on the field. John Chido has head coach Tom Wilson following Dowling's win 61-7 over Lincoln. Johnny, take it away with the Dowling head coach.
Coach Wilson, congratulations on a 2-0 start in district play. You got it rolling early like we talked about at halftime, and you finished strong with a 61-7 finish. A lot of kids got a lot of action tonight. That's great to see. Second game in the district. Your thoughts on tonight's performance?
Really very happy we did the things that we wanted to do, and I thought it was a responsibility of our older kids that play a little bit more to get their job done so we could play some of those kids. And we haven't had as many JV games and things like that, and I know those guys have been chewing at the bit to play, and I thought we did a pretty good job of getting them in there, and saw a lot of new faces carrying the ball, throwing the ball, catching the ball, etc. So always a definite plus.
Mark or Matt?
Okay, thank you, Johnny. And Coach, you know, I know tonight you got to be pleased. No penalties, as we mentioned, as Ryan Bowles talked about, no penalties in the offensive line or the team in general. But congratulations to you, career win number 250. I know you don't like talking about yourself, but I'm going to talk about you. Hats off to you and your coaching career.
Well, thank you. I, honest to goodness, didn't know that, but appreciate it. Proud of our kids. You know, obviously, this rivalry goes back a ways, and I was just hoping we could take care of business, and certainly did. And you always worry about homecoming, and so many people did so many good things for our homecoming and all the work that they put in, and the Hall of Fame and the people that were honored, certainly very deserving. Glad we could top it off with a win.
You know, Coach, we talked about it before the game up here about trying to keep the kids' focus during homecoming week. And do you do anything different as you run through the week of this? And I know you had one practice in the morning as well this week.
Well, it was great, honestly, practice in the morning, and that was more weather related than anything else. But, you know, I make it pretty clear to the kids that, you know, the homecoming festivities is really for everybody else, and our job is the game. And, you know, I say that each and every year, but honestly, that's the truth, and we have a job to do, and now they can enjoy tomorrow night, and then we'll get ready for Sioux City East after that.
Yeah, a couple of bus trips on the horizon, Coach, to the next 3 weeks, and then, you know, that changes. You talk about routine, and every team has routines. That'll be a change for you in that 3-hour bus trip coming up.
Oh, we will, and fortunately we've done it before, and by the time we do it the second time, we should be used to it. So it is what it is. We'll take the trip, and hopefully we can continue to get this team to get better.
Well, Coach, congratulate you and commend you and the staff on the Athletic Hall of Fame inductees this year. It's getting tougher and tougher at Dowling because there's so many kids to consider, and I know you and the committee do a great job with that, and that's a little bit behind the scenes, and I know that's one of your passions is getting everybody in that should be in.
I appreciate that. What a great group we had this year. It's you know, Eric Lee, they didn't mention it, but he's so unselfish. His sister's getting married, so he passed up his, you know, Hall of Fame induction, and hopefully we can get he and Carissa back on campus sometime this winter. Certainly honor them as they should be.
Tom, congratulations on win 250. Go get him next week in Sioux City. We'll be up there with you, and thanks for all you do for Dowling.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Head coach Tom Wilson also is the athletic director there at Dowling, and Matt, you know, a lot of things go on. He's the head coach during the football season. Michael Connor, Mary Pick, and the rest of the staff do a great job kind of helping out the athletic department. But I'll tell you what, Tom is he's a good egg. He does a great job, great to work with, and nothing really seems to faze him. But he's I'll tell you right now, he's very passionate about this Athletic Hall of Fame since he's been on board.
And it's, you know, I think the thing that you said there is it's steady.
Mm-hmm.
You know that Tom day after day after day is going to be a steady force. It's going to be an optimistic force and doing things what are best for kids. And in his mind, that's what he's working on. What's going to impact kids in the greatest way, and holds our coaches to a high standard, and he holds himself to that high standard day in and day out. And it's a pleasure to work with him.
Certainly is. Again, the final score, Dowling with the win tonight over Des Moines Lincoln by the score of 61-7. Mark Amadale, Matt Maindring, along with John Chida, will be back with final thoughts after these messages here on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network.
You want to get stronger, faster, healthier. You want more. You want to be part of something bigger than yourself. A place for people of all ages, all walks of life, that provides opportunities for all to succeed. We do that. We're the why. Build more than muscle. Build a stronger community.
Hi, Ron here, head coach of West Des Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to West Des Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury, whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to West Des Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
And welcome back to Valley Stadium, our final segment here on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network. I want to thank Pete Tarpey and the CISN.TV crew. We have one more regular season game with them. I think next week they're back here as Council Bluffs Lincoln takes on Valley, so they'll be providing the webcast for that. And you and I and Johnny and another guest will be heading to Sioux City, except you're going to be heading up to Lamar's a little bit further.
I'll be in Lamar's,
but
Wells Blue Bunny area.
Yeah, I figured as much. Bring back some of that good ice cream, Matt. And that's your neck of the woods up there in northwest Iowa. And we hope that your radar or your weather
is wrong.
Weather forecast you had in your phone's wrong.
It'll
snow.
Change. Snow.
In northern Iowa, you don't get that in October, do you?
And it never falls straight down, always sideways.
Yes, sideways, of course. Yeah. Hey, what a week it's been. As you mentioned, it's been homecoming week. A lot of people to thank. I want to thank a few people here. John Michelson, who and his family and his 4 boys who are keeping John Chido, our sideline reporter, in check. He won the Dowling men's stag radio announcer for a game, and he elected to stay on the sidelines with his 4 boys. Thought that was the best thing, is keep him down there. And I don't know if they last the whole game or not. We appreciate having John on for a while, and thanks for all he does. He's in his last term as a West Des Moines City Councilman. He's has his own business, so he's going to be focusing on that. But we want to thank him for supporting Iowa Catholic Radio, and thanks to John and his wife and all the folks of the Michelson family. Yeah, it's a pleasure. It is a community. Mm-hmm. And that whole community pulls together in support in so many different ways, and that's what's fun to see. You see all these components come together and supporting the different entities that go on to make Dowling Catholic what it is. Well, Matt, I know you want to give thanks to a lot of people that had a busy week, and I know one of them, Casey Tickle. I tried to talk her into going over to Wellman's afterwards. That's where the post-game bash is going to be for all the. She may go take a nap. And she says, "Mark, I don't know. It's been a long." So I can just say, so I know that's one person you wanted to thank amongst others, Matt. Yeah, Casey Tickle, Laura Catch, Rebecca Cooling, and Megan Dowdle. And, they ran the homecoming festivities this week and just did a knockout job. The Powder Puff football game on Monday night was a hit. I think we had over 130 girls participated and about 40 boys who thought they were coaches. And it was just a lot of fun to watch. I announced the championship game, and you can see Mallory Wilson has been at a few football games. You could tell. And Olivia Gerke and the Aunties. It was just a lot of fun. And Caitlin Clark was playing quarterback, trying to, she didn't throw it quite as well as her brother. But, it was a lot of fun to watch. And the festivities all week long were great. And then you throw in, we had volleyball, we had swim. And then there's a choir concert last night. And you look down the field and you see the big guy, Theo Davis.
and defensive lineman for us, and he's out there with our elite choir, the jazz choir, and is one of those voices and just multi-talented. And it's just fun to see these kids do all these different things. Quinn Tipping and Mary Bartimus just do a great job with our choir program, and you watch those things excel.
When John Chido interviews Theo Davis later in the year, you have to have him maybe hum a bar or two, or no, sing a bar or two for us here on Iowa.
Speaking of that, at the prep rally today, we saw Mike Rolfe, our German teacher, and Bruce Badke, our science teacher, and Jeff Morris, business teacher, all did a barbershop. It was, I don't know what the trio. It was a barbershop trio, sang the school song in that form.
Jeff Morris was in there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That was the surprise, but I know Bruce and Mike do that.
You know what that tells me, Mr. Mainring?
What's that?
It tells me there was no tryout. If Jeff was in there. They didn't have any tryouts for that.
He did a great job.
Well, it was been a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Congratulations to the Athletic Hall of Fame inductees. 2 of them we had on here on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network. Claudia Farrell and Tommy Gall were our halftime guests. Our congratulations to the King and Queen, Andrew Bevan and Caroline Camito. King and Queen for homecoming, Dowling 2019. Congratulations to them. And Matt, that powder, that baby powder, it'll come out eventually. You had
we cleaned it.
I know you did.
It's better than where it was when we started.
I know you have a message for the student body. You cannot bring that to the stadium.
Yeah, that's right.
But it was a lot of fun.
The kids did a good job of cleaning it up, and it is what it is. But we'll see. Drew and Caroline tomorrow night. They'll get to see it at the dance.
Sure.
If you guys are bored, you can come to the homecoming dance with us and help supervise.
Yeah.
No,
Johnny will be bored. He'll be soaked from that Iowa State game, probably.
Yeah,
maybe. You can, okay.
Oh.
Might need a chaperone or two. Is that what you're trying to recruit?
Well, yeah. No, the kids are good.
Well, that'll wrap up our show.
All right.
We'll talk to you in a couple weeks, but you'll be going to Sioux City.
Yep, I'll wave and drive as I go by Morningside.
Yeah, I know you will. But John Chido and I will be making the trip. Dowling at Sioux City East next Friday night. Both teams 2-0 in district play, so a huge game. Sioux City East now 5-1, just like Dowling in overall. So we have a great matchup up there. Hope you tune in next Friday night. On the radio side, here at Valley Stadium on CISN.TV, it'll be Abraham Lincoln of Council Bluffs taking on the Valley Tigers, so you can tune in and watch that on their webcast. For Matt Maindring, for John Chido, I'm Mark Amadale. Thanks for tuning in and listening. Our studio producer tonight on Iowa Catholic Radio is David Beltran. We want to thank him, along with Anna and all the folks at CISN.TV. For now, the final score, final time, Dowling 61, Des Moines Lincoln 7. We'll talk to you next week here on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Central Iowa Sports Network.